So just over 5 minutes to kick off as Leeds United look to make up ground on the three teams above them in the Championship table. The Leeds boss and former Norwich man Daniel Farke understands the importance of securing the 3 points tonight.
It has the same importance like all the games. Each and every game is a chance to add 1 or 3 points, and obviously we are always greedy and go into each and every game. We want to win this game. We want to win the 3 points. And if there comes a game along that you can't win, then we want to make sure that we don't lose it and gain at least 1 point. So obviously we are highly motivated. We know that we are, especially in home games, there with great point tally, and obviously each and every win is important, because if you want to finish in a really good position come next May, you know that you need a proper point tally, and for that, just with the points that we have, there's no chance to finish in the top 6 or perhaps even higher. So for that, we need to add points.
Daniel Farke, who has written in his programme notes about how much he enjoyed the 4 years he spent at Norwich. He got them promoted to the Premier League twice in that sort of era, Neil Redfern, where Norwich were a bit of a yo-yo club. Massive disappointment for them, ending up 13th last season. David Wagner came in for the back end of that season, taking over from Dean Smith. There does appear, if we just look from the Norwich angle, that there's a bit more about them just lately. I mentioned that run of 2 wins in 11 when they had a dreadful start, and then they sort of lost 3 of their next 12. They've really picked up their form almost from nowhere.
Yeah, I think what they've done is they've basically become a little bit more pragmatic. They're a little bit more disciplined at the back. It's a little bit more about a defensive action. So they're starting to keep clean sheets more often. But they know they've got the quality going forward to go and score, but they've got to get that base right first, and I think that's always been a trait of David Wagner, and he's been looking for that formula all through this season, to be fair, and they've just found a little bit of consistency. So you can see them traits starting to come out. I think from Daniel Farke's point of view, what a successful time at Norwich City. He's got to have fond memories of being at that club. But I'll know deep down in his mind he'll want to turn them over tonight, because you do, if it's a previous side that you've managed, and you're with a side that's battling for the same things, you want to get the upper hand, so it's going to be keenly contested.
You're listening to the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. We're waiting for the teams to emerge from the tunnel. Choice of listening tonight across the Talksport network. Kicking off in a little while over on Talksport live at Craven Cottage. Fulham against Liverpool in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final for the right to face Chelsea in the Wembley showpiece. Just quickly, to give Fulham any squeak of a chance, 2-1 down from the first leg?
Yeah, I think so, because I think they've done enough. If you look at the Premier League season so far, they've had some great results against good sides, and obviously it's a cup match, so why not?
There's other football going on as well tonight in the National League. Boreham Wood and Eastleigh. A couple of games in the Scottish Prem. Hibs against Rangers and St Johnstone against Aberdeen. Lots of games going on in the Women's League Cup, of course. Neil alongside me, former coach of the Liverpool and Sheffield United women's teams in the League Cup. In Group A, Blackburn are 2-0 up on Sheffield United women at the moment. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 0. Leicester 3, Everton 0 in Group B. Manchester City, Manchester United in the Manchester Derby 0-0 approaching half-time. London City Lionesses trailing at home to Crystal Palace in Group C. And in Group D, Reading 0, Arsenal 2 in the first half, and Birmingham City women 1, West Ham 0, and Charlton 0, Brighton 2.
Was there a little cheer there after that Birmingham score?
I'm quite pleased that we're ahead. Lily Aggs got the goal, if you must know, for Darren Carter's side, who's just brought Bex back to the club.
Yeah.
Now the two teams emerge from the tunnel just down to our right-hand side, led out by the referee Matt Donoghue. Both sides will be in their first choice colours. Leeds in all white, Norwich in their canary yellow and green, as it should be then tonight for this championship fixture. And marching on together, blasts out the speakers. And I go back to the first time I ever came here, Neil. I'm not sure whether you were the manager, but it was a game against Crewe on the opening day of the season. I think it was Luke Murphy, got the winner for Leeds late on here. I've been in some loud stadiums in my time.
Yeah.
This was ear-splittingly loud, and it's always struck me as being one of the most intense atmospheres. Has that always been there? I mean, you managed here. Did it lose some of that sparkle over time?
No. I think obviously they've had their ups and downs, as it says in the song. But I think what you've got is you've got a partisan crowd that are so patriot, you know what I mean, and want to get behind the sides. You know, it's a fantastic place to play, and you know when you've got 30,000, 37,000 at the weekend, you know, behind you, getting behind you, and making lots of noise. It's really daunting for the opposition. You know, and they talk about it being the 12th man. I think definitely the case down at Ellen Road.
A reminder of what's at stake tonight. Leeds start the night in 4th on 54 points. If they get a win, they'll go just a point behind third place Southampton, who themselves are only a point behind Ipswich, as it starts to get very congested behind Leicester at the top of the shop. Norwich are 41 points, so they're 13 behind their opponents tonight. That said, if Norwich were to get the 3 points here, then they would go into the top 6 above Coventry City.
I think the big thing in all dance is momentum. You know, if you can get a little bit of momentum at the right point of the season, we're over the Christmas period now, where they've had a lot of games, and now you're into, you know, there's clear sight of the finishing line now. And if you can have that little bit of momentum going forward, it can take you a long way.
Consistent team selection's a big part of that as well.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, bang on. And I think that's what both managers are looking at.
Two captains exchanging their pennants, Kenny McLean and Ethan Ampadu. I do hope you can hear us. It's so loud in here tonight. Ian Danton, Neil Redfern with you. Plenty at stake. Our exclusive commentary of Leeds United against Norwich City about to get underway here on your home with the EFL. Norwich will have kickoff, and they're heading for the Revy end to our left in this first half. We're sat about midway back, Neil and myself, in the John Charles main stand, with the Norman Hunter end to our right, the Revy end to our left, and Norwich get us underway, and straight away there's a push by Ilya Griev on Marcelinho Nunez in the centre circle, and Norwich have a free kick that they take quickly back to Shane Duffy, who scored an own goal and a goal at the right end in the reverse fixture earlier in the season. Leeds win the ball back, and Bamford gets his first touch of the night. Tries to slide it through to Somerville. There's a real forest of legs to try and get the ball through. Leeds squeeze it out to the inside left channel. Somerville picks it up and runs at the Norwich back line. Plays a 1-2 with Rutter. Bamford tried to get a shot on goal, but he just couldn't get his balance and turn and shoot. And Norwich get the ball clear. And then there's another foul, this time by Rutter. And it's a free kick as Sala was brought down. And it's already a very high-tempo game in the first minute, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, it is definitely a little taste of what Crescencio Somerville's all about as well. Just left 3 defenders for dead there, dropping his shoulder and weaving his way into the edge of the box, but good defending in the end by Norwich.
And Norwich's free kick swung out to this near side, the left back, Dimitris Giannoulis. Sara touches the ball in field, the ball for science, great skill from him. Ricochets along the 18-yard line and almost broke for Jonathan Rowe for Norwich. It's been half clear, but Norwich have it back down the left-hand side with Giannoulis. His cross into the area is nodded down by Joe Roden, and Leeds calmly bring it away, and Junior Firpo will slide it back to the 2 Leeds centre-halves, Ampadu and Roden. Roden on loan from Tottenham Hotspur, played in French football last year. Often scratch my head and wonder why he never had more of a chance after he came to Tottenham Hotspur. But here he is. I think he's one of the leading lights for Leeds. I think that he's one of the players that the fans have really taken to this season, but I'm not sure that there's an option to buy at the end of the loan. Could be Daniel Levy doing a bit of smart business there. 0-0.
Well, he's definitely been a top player for Leeds since he's come in. Just looking at Norwich, Dancer, they've really started high up the pitch,
haven't they?
You know, not coming here to go and sit back and try and defend.
I'm actually slightly surprised by that, given the way that they approached the home game against West Brom. Yeah. They weren't exactly sitting in in their own defensive third and saying get past us, but yeah, certainly asking a few questions of Leeds' back line. It's 0-0. Work back to Meslier, the Leeds keeper, at the edge of his area, and he plays the ball outside to the left-hand side for Ethan Ampadu. Ampadu drifts out towards the far side of the field, in front of that 2-tier Jack Charlton stand. Firpo just ahead of him, plays the ball infield. Rutter had Ben Gibson at his back. There's a real ricochet and pinball around the midfield, and Leeds win it back, and Bamford tried to slide in Somerville at the edge of the area, but the ball was overhit by Bamford and trickles over the dead ball line for a Norwich goal kick. 3 gone on Talksport, 2, it's 0-0.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Norwich's backline deal with Patrick Bamford and Jorginho Rutter, because, you know, usually it's Bamford that plays up there amongst the 2 centre-backs, and Rutter is a 10, but they do alternate that. You know, they'll swap at times. Bamford will drop in. It'll be interesting to see how they manage it.
Norwich playing out from the back, using that technique with the 2 centre-halves joining the goalkeeper in the area for the goal kick. They've won a throw as they played it out to the left-hand side, and Giannoulis hit it against the whippet-like Daniel James, not short of pace. The Leeds number 20. Giannoulis throws the ball into Gabriel Sara, and then Kenny McLean, the Norwich skipper, keeping the ball away from Glenn Kamara, and they hit the ball against James for another throw for Norwich, not far from where Daniel Farke is stood inside his technical area.
I think Kenny McLean has been one of the impressive performers for Norwich in recent weeks.
Been playing at centre-half as well when he's needed to. Much like Ampadu doing the job for Leeds tonight in that position.
Yeah, I mean, he was excellent at Hull. Played both positions within that one game in that game.
So throw to Norwich City. We've played 4 minutes on Talksport 2. It's goalless. Norwich attacking the Revy end to our left in this first half in their yellow and green first choice colours. And on halfway, it's with Marcelinho Nunez. One change made by David Wagner tonight, coming in for Ashley Barnes, who's amongst the Norwich substitutes. Heavy touch from Duffy, almost allowed Somerville to take it off his toe. You heard the ooh of the crowd as Somerville nearly took it off his toe, but Norwich have got it out to the right hand side, and Jack Stacey making good headway down that right hand side, swings a cross in, and it's away from Meslier, but there was nobody in yellow and green inside the box to get on the end of that cross. But then Archie Gray can't control it on this near touchline, and Norwich have a throw, 0-0.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's not a bad ball in the box, actually. I don't think the 3 yellow shirts attacking the box were expecting that to come in. And if they'd just took a chance, there was an opening there for them.
Ball's back on halfway, Norwich in possession. Ben Gibson slides it down the inside left channel. Sara turns it on, asking Giannoulis to dash to the dead ball line, but Archie Gray protects it well. Archie Gray just 17. Let me remind you, in case you weren't aware, I mean, the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Andy, Frank, Eddie, all related to this kid. And you were telling me off air just how much you love watching this kid play wherever he plays in the Leeds lineup.
Yeah, I think one of his biggest traits is how well and how comfortable he is on the ball in tight situations.
Rutter picks the ball up for Leeds just by the centre circle. He was caught by ball for signs, and the referee gives the free kick to the home side just ahead of the centre circle. I will say this referee, he likes a yellow card. 94 yellow cards in 19 games so far this season. And he's also issued 2 red cards in the last month in the FA Cup and in the Championship. So beware both sets of players. Daniel James trying to weave into the area, but he had 3 Norwich shirts around him, and one of them, Ben Gibson, just turned and hooked it clear, and it drifts out of play on this near side for a Leeds throw, taken quickly by Gray. Rutter holds it up despite the attentions of McLean. Then Gruyev rolls it along the halfway line, right to left to pick out Ampadu. Now further out left to Junior Firpo. 0-0 on Talksport 2. We played 6.5 minutes at Ellen Road. Ian Danter and Neil Redfern with you.
I think you can definitely say that both these sides have locked horns at this moment in time. There's not much give in this game.
Well, Gray's making tracks down the right-hand side, but Giannoulis gets between man and ball and protects it well. Sara tucks it in field for Norwich. Lovely first touch from Kenny McLean to get away from Gruyev. Brings it up to halfway and slides it forward to Sargent. Sargent is held up by Rodon. Oh, he's fouled by Rodon, says the referee. Says he caught him on the ankle. Leeds fans don't like it, but Norwich have a free kick midway point of the Leeds half. 0-0.
Yeah, I think it's clever play by Sargent. His first touch just lets him down a little as he turns it back inside on himself. And Rodon's committed to the challenge, and he just gets his body in there and rides it and wins his team a free kick. But I've been really impressed with Norwich in these opening exchanges. Look confident, look like a side that's on the up. And they'll definitely not come to sit back at Leeds. There's
unbeaten
no two ways
in
about
2024. We talked about Leeds being unbeaten at home all season, but Norwich have started this calendar year very well indeed. And they have the free kick midway point of the Leeds half to the left of centre. Sarah over it, left-footed, plays it to the back post. Meslier comes to punch and gets 2 fists on it. Drops out to Nunez in the inside right channel. Stacey whips a lovely ball in, and Shane Duffy sliding in 10 yards out, nearly connected with a cross that was whipped in superbly by Jack Stacey. But in the end, Meslier was able to claim on his 6-yard line, 0-0.
Yeah, that's the best chance of the game so far. I mean, we're only in the opening minutes. But what a ball in, to be fair. It runs all the way across that Leeds United backline. And he's a whisper away of catching that. Good goalkeeping in the end from Meslier as well. Great punch before.
Yep.
You know, that has been criticised for that, you know, about coming for crosses and not being a presence, but it was definitely a presence there.
Leeds 0, Norwich 0. 8.5 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Saints for Norwich. Nunez turns it round the corner, kept in play by Gabriel Sara out on the far side of the field as he takes the ball over the halfway line into the Leeds half. Plays the ball back as a square to Nunez. Being closed down immediately by Glenn Camera, but he manages to work the ball back to Stacey. Stacey coming infield from the right-hand touchline, looks to feed Sargent. Great challenge, Joe Roden, and then held up well in the centre circle by Rutter. Oh, lovely skill, Jorginho Rutter, to get away from 3 challenges, and now he's away down the left-hand side, having played a 1-2 with Somerville. Leeds coming forward with menace. Rutter going on the outside of Stacey. Went to cross with his left and then feinted back in on his right. Goes down just outside the area, and the referee says, get up. It's a goal kick to Norwich, 0-0.
Yeah, I think he's looking for it in the end. It's very theatrical, the dive, but unbelievable play to get himself there. Received the ball, sort of centre circle-ish, twisted and turned away from challenges, strong on the ball. Linked in with Somerville, which has happened a lot this season. Thought he'd won his team a free kick, but the referee thought otherwise.
Well, he's a bit of the assist king now, is Jorginho Rutter. Got 9 this season.
That's what you have when you can't score, mate.
Well, he's got 5. I mean, it's not like he's not scored at all, but I'd take your point.
Yeah.
They've moved him. They've done a bit of a Joe Linton on him, changed into a midfielder from a striker.
But you know what, Dance? I think this role suits him.
Yeah,
I do, because, you know, he's involved in it a lot more.
He's enjoying his football. You can sense that. His body language is very much on the front foot, isn't he?
Yeah.
So 0-0 the score. Don't forget the cricket starts tomorrow. Set your alarms nice and early, please. 3:30 a.m. here on Talksport 2 for the first test in Hyderabad. England going with just one seamer, Mark Wood, against India. No Harry Brook for England, no Virat Kohli for India. So join our top commentary team, including Darren Goff and Kevin Peterson, from 3:30 a.m. for ball-by-ball exclusive commentary of the first test. Here at Ellen Road, Dan James coming forward for Leeds down the right-hand side. It's a poor clearance from Ben Gibson that allows Leeds to get the ball back. Now Gibson trying to protect the ball as it trickles toward the dead ball line. James pushes him down by the corner flag where the John Charles meets the Norman Hunter stand, and Norwich have themselves a free kick. 10 minutes gone, and that really has flashed by, that first 10 minutes on Talksport 2. No score.
Yeah, 2 sides playing with real confidence, Dance, at this moment in time. Norwich fancy this, you can see that. I mean, in games gone by away from home, they've been, you know, they've got themselves in that mid-block. They've not gone chasing it, but they've gone after Leeds tonight. They think they can put this Leeds side under pressure.
Well, they've only scored 4 goals fewer than Leeds in the Championship this season. The Leeds have got 50 at this point. Norwich on 46. The problem is they've almost conceded as many.
Yeah.
43 conceded, whilst Leeds have only conceded, well, just over half of what they scored, 26. Leeds in possession, but given away by Roden. Sainz keeps the ball in place superbly down this left-hand side, level with the Leeds penalty area, rolls it infield to Nunez. Nunez went to take a shot, but it was taken off his toe by Rutter. Back defending, helping out his teammates. And now Leeds come forward with Firpo over the halfway line. Tries to play it out to Somerville, but that was wise defending from Jack Stacey. Stepped out at the right moment and intercepted the potential through ball. But Somerville does have it back now for Leeds United. 0-0 on 12 minutes. Steps inside Jonathan Rose. Somerville up to the edge of the area. Plays a 1-2 with Rutter. Tried to give it back to Rutter a second time, but it got away from him and drifted out for a goal kick. But the interplay between Crescencio Somerville and Jorginho Rutter is an absolute delight, but it is still 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, they're great to watch. You look at Somerville, he's so good when he comes in off the line, dribbling inside, just jinking past players, and he knows where to go, to be fair. Rutter picks up the position so he can just bounce it off him, and he gets that into that penalty area and causes all sorts of problems.
Norwich again playing the ball out from the back. It's out with Jack Stacey, the right back. McLean knocks it back to Shane Duffy. Tried to clear it down the line, down the far side, but went straight out of play And Leeds United have themselves a throw. They'll just be getting underway in the next couple of minutes at Craven Cottage for the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Chelsea already there, having beaten Middlesbrough last night. So over on Talksport, you can pick up commentary of Fulham against Liverpool with Sam Matterface and Scott Minto. And as Paul Hawksby said earlier on Talksport, if you don't have the Talksport app yet, you're daft. Get it downloaded for your phone and you can swipe effortlessly between both Talksport and Talksport 2, plus some of our sister stations on the app, and listen to whatever you desire. At the moment, we've got a great game in progress here. Leeds 0, Norwich 0. Leeds have won a throw, midway point in the Norwich half. Down the right-hand side, Gray wants to take it quickly, and he's thrown it back to the halfway line, and Roden will go a little bit further back into his own half for Ethan Ampadu. Skipper in the side as well, Ampadu. Shows how much the manager thinks of him.
Yeah, he's been brilliant this season, to be fair to him.
Now Somerville again picks it up inside left channel to the left-hand corner of the area, twisting and turning and trying to go over from Jack Stacey. Still got it, Somerville running into the area, gets to the edge of the box, finally goes to ground. James tries to tee up Gray at the edge of the D. Gray works it slightly to his left for Rutter. Rutter, lovely ball down the left-hand side of the box for Camera. And now Junior Firpo gets to the byline, pulls it back, overhead kick from Bamford, just couldn't connect the right way. What an effort from Patrick Bamford. It came off the side of his boot and went behind for a goal kick. But worth a try from Bamford, who's been scoring some fantastic goals lately. It is, though, a Norwich City goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, brilliant play by Leeds, because they've done so well in and around their own penalty box. Norwich, they've got bodies back, they've made it difficult for Leeds. They forced them backwards and sideways, but they managed to work the ball down the left. Just hung up the back stick by Firpo, and is unlucky with his overhead kick, Bamford. Good play by Leeds.
3 goals in 4 games, all competitions for Patrick Bamford. He scored that quite outstanding goal at Peterborough in the FA Cup on the volley. So he's in good form. Here's Glenn Camera down the left-hand side into the area for Rutter. But Duffy gets a foot in, the other number 24 out there, and gets it half clear. Glenn Camera gets in there again. It drops for Rutter. Leeds player stayed down. It's Archie Gray, but we play on. Daniel James, right-hand corner of the box. Cross for Bamford! Heads it home! Magnificent! Patrick Bamford makes it 4 in 5 in all competitions, and Leeds are in the hunt for automatic promotion. Good and proper. Well, Daniel James cross from the right-hand corner of the box, and a free header dispatched brilliantly by Patrick Bamford. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Well, that's a classic centre-forward's goal dance. Great ball to the back stick by Dan James. Just left it there for Bamford. And he's timing and climbing. He gets right above the ball and he powers it back across the keeper into the far corner, giving him absolutely no chance. Probably only what Leeds have deserved, to be honest with you. They've been the side that are asking the questions. And this is a great goal for Leeds.
Super ball in from Dan James, and Bamford had pulled away at the back post behind Shane Duffy, had a good yard or two of space around him, but the cross had to be delivered pinpoint, and it was, and he just headed it back from whence it came, Patrick Bamford.
That's great athleticism, Dance. He's actually going backwards a little bit, and he arches his back and just feels it back into the far corner.
Well, he had a loan spell at Norwich back in 2016, did Patrick Bamford. Didn't score in 7 appearances that he made for the Canaries. But as I say, he's now made it 4 goals in 5 games in all competitions to get Leeds in front on the 16-minute mark here on Talksport 2.
I think the other thing as well, Dan, it's almost like a new signing. You know, he's come back, he's played his last 4 or 5 games, he's scoring goals. You know, he's just giving Leeds that extra little bit of, you know, firepower at the time they need it.
By the way, the applause you can hear is for Archie Gray, who was injured in the build-up to that goal, stayed down, but Leeds played on and scored. Gray's had some treatment, and he's just being led to this near touchline, so we'll have to wait that regulation 30 seconds before he can come back onto the field. So after what's been a really high-tempo opening quarter of an hour, Leeds have the advantage here on your home of the EFL, and now we restart. Norwich in their green and yellow, attacking the Revy end. I'm sure their principles won't change because they were already trying to be on the front foot.
Well, if you look at the ball, it's been played around the back now for Norwich, and there must be at least 7 green and yellow shirts in front of the ball. They want to take the game to Leeds, but Leeds have got right on the front foot with that opening goal.
Still waiting for Gray to be allowed back on as Giannoulis picks it up left-hand side. Lovely swirling cross. Rowe goes down in the area, claiming he was pushed. Nothing doing, says the referee. Jack Stacey picks it up right-hand side for Norwich. Under pressure, rolls it back to Duffy on the halfway line. Infield for Kenny McLean. McLean looks to get Giannoulis in behind Daniel James. James cleared it against Giannoulis and it ricocheted across the Leeds box, but there were white shirts there to clear it away. Nervous moments at the back for Leeds United, and then Gray, who's only just back on the field, has pulled down both the Saints, and now Norwich have a free kick tight to this near touchline, about 10 yards from the corner flag. It's all happening here.
Yeah.
Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
What a great response from Norwich, by the way. Not sulking at all. They've gone straight back up the other end and gone after Leeds. Really unlucky with that, how that cross nearly fell for a yellow shirt as it's ricocheted off a Leeds player. They've got a free kick now in a really good position. They've got to defend this well, Leeds.
Thoughts of Neil Redfern alongside me, Ian Danter here at Ellen Road. The vanishing spray's been put down. It's not been moved by both the Saints, like Ivan Toney did on Saturday. It's a one-man Leeds wall. It's down the left-hand side of the box, and it will be swung in by Nunez to the 6-yard line. Great header clear by Joe Rodon. I almost heard him shout, "Mine!" And he put a huge head on that and got it clear. Ball goes all the way back to Angus Gunn, who clears it out to Giannoulis down this near side under real pressure from Daniel James, but Norwich are bringing the ball forward, and now Saints is away. Archie Gray gets in between man and ball, protects it really well. Leeds United throw. And the applause you heard around us there, that's just for Archie Gray protecting the ball out for a throw-in. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, just look at Leeds there responding. When they've cleared that ball, you're right, Dance. It's a great header from Joe Rodon. It's what you want your centre-back to do when you're under a bit of pressure. But they break Leeds and they get there so quick. And they're under pressure, the players that are travelling back for Norwich to try and keep that ball and play forward. I think the reaction from the crowd is for that front foot approach.
Please, it's a push by Rutter on Nunez that's given Norwich another free kick in the Leeds half, this time further back towards the halfway line. But I'm sure the Welsh management team will be delighted with the form that both Rodon and Ampadu are showing at the back. So it's an option for their Euro playoffs in a couple of months' time.
Oh, absolutely. I tell you the other one as well, Dan James.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely turned himself around. You know, this is the player that, you know, all the top clubs were looking at now.
Free kick to Norwich. Leeds 1-0 up here on Talksport 2. 20 minutes gone. It's Gabriel Sara to take it. Swings it into the edge of the box. Left-hand side, Glenn Kamara gets it clear only as far as Stacey. He guides it out to the right-hand side of McLean. McLean just drops his shoulder to try and get away from Rutter, who slides in and puts it out for a Norwich throw on the far side. McLean's going to leave it for Stacey to take. Midway point of the half. Needs an option, somebody coming short for him. Saints and also Sara making runs. Saints is the player that gets the throw. Stacey tries to turn it round the corner for Gabriel Sara, and he's scrapping for possession with Junior Firpo, who under pressure clears the ball out of play for a Norwich throw. This is further towards the corner flag now, as Norwich still asking questions of Leeds United here. 1-0 to the home side though.
Yeah, it's definitely a great reaction from Norwich since the goal. They took the game to Leeds. They're having to defend in their own half. They've almost pinned them in for the last 5 minutes.
Jonathan Rowe trying to get it better of Firpo, hooks it clear. Now Dan James gets over halfway, but he was watched by Giannoulis. Jonathan Rowe stayed down over on the far side of the field. I couldn't see him for a moment because there's a giant post in my way, but Neil Redfern to my left could spot him. And that was after that clash with Junior Firpo. And Jonathan Rowe's been such an important cog in the David Wagner machine at Norwich. Top scorer, 12 this season. And I watched him on Saturday for the first time live in quite a while, Neil Redfern, and I was so impressed with his two-footed ability. He can take full-backs either way, and Junior Firpo's got to be wary of that, I think, as the game goes on. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, definitely. He scored against Hull City as well. I think he scored the opening goal. Just really inventive from that wide midfield berth, if you like.
What a breakthrough season. I mean,
it's brilliant.
Come from absolutely nowhere. Come from the Norwich Academy. Trusted by his manager, and boy has he delivered for David Wagner. Norwich a goal down but in possession just inside their own half with Shane Duffy, who sees Patrick Bamford come to close down the space. Bamford the goal scorer. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Midway point of the first half on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Now ball clipped down the Norwich left, asking Josh Sargent to run. He's very game and runs after it, but Ampadu gets a foot in, and it actually came off Josh Sargent last of all. Sargent thinks it's a Norwich throw.
Not sure about that one, mate.
It looked a Norwich throw to me, but Matt Donoghue was convinced it came off Sargent last of all. So Archie Gray will have the throw, almost level with the edge of his own penalty area, right in front of us as we sit in the John Charles main stand here at Ellen Road. Gray lobs it down this near touchline, flicked on by Bamford, chested into possession by Jorginho Rutter, but then he loses out on this near touchline. Sargent putting his foot in again. Great skill from Jorginho Rutter. Plays a 1-2 with Bamford and almost got away down this near side until Giannoulis touched it out of play for a throw on halfway.
He's had some fantastic moments already in this game. Jorginho Rutter has shown his real quality in that 10 slot just in behind Patrick Bamford. Great feet, good awareness. Becoming a real key player for Leeds now.
He cost a fair chunk of change when he joined a year ago from Hoffenheim. Didn't score in the Premier League run-in when Leeds just couldn't beat the drop. But 5 goals and 9 assists in this slightly different role that Rutter's been given by Daniel Farke. 24 gone, 1-0 Leeds. They're coming forward the home side with Ethan Ampadu. Down the left-hand side for Junior Firpo. Rowe closes down the space, stops him getting further down the line, so Leeds work it back towards Ilya Gruyev, just next to the centre circle. And for the first time, there's a bit of a hush descending on Allen Road. Probably for the first time in about, 24 minutes.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're getting a breather with the ball here, Leeds. They're just trying to keep the ball in and around that halfway line-ish, making Norwich chase a little bit, just taking the legs out of Norwich a little bit, because they've had a great reaction since the goal. They'll be pleased with that, David Wagner.
But it is still Leeds 1, Norwich 0. 24.5 minutes played on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Ball's back on halfway with the Bulgarian, Ilya Gruyev. To his right is Roden, slides it along the deck out to this near touchline on the right, and Archie Gray. Gray plays a 1-2 with James, keeps it in play, gets to the byline, fakes across with his right, checks back onto his left, and then leaves it for Daniel James, who drops his shoulder. He again fakes to cross. Lovely dummy to get away from sights. The cross is too deep for Bamford, but it will get through to Junior Firpo on the far side. Now Glenn Kamara, left-hand corner of the box, spins away from Rowe, gives it back to Somerville. Always looks lively. Somerville with his bright orange boots lays it off to Roden. Now Gruyev. Kamara now takes over. Back again for Ilya Gruyev. Very patient from Leeds United at this point. Now Joe Roden again slides it out to the right wing for Daniel James. Level with the Norwich penalty area. Wanting to go on the outside of Giannoulis, but then cuts infield. Plays into the feet of Somerville. James caught off the ball and is writhing in agony. Right-hand corner of the box, but again, Leeds play on. Nothing spotted by the referee, or indeed the assistant, who's not flagged for anything on this near side. Archie Gray will roll it back for Roden. James is now sitting up and will very slowly get to his feet. But he did triple Salco in a roll as he went to ground there.
Yeah, it was a straight arm. I'm not sure it was worth 3 rolls and a pirouette, but he's back on his feet now anyway. He's been a real instigator in this opening few exchanges. Dan James, they want him on his feet.
Well, he wants it again down the right-hand side of the area, but Archie Gray has it, plays a 1-2 with James, gets to the byline. Oh, he's lobbed it over Giannoulis' head. Gray across the face of goal, cleared away by Gibson for Norwich City. Archie Gray pulling out the exhibition stuff. Goes out of play in the end for a Norwich goal kick. 26 minutes gone, Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, fantastic play by Archie Gray. That could have almost been Eddie Gray. You know, his stance and the way he walks and the way he carries himself. Great feet to dance past his marker. He's unlucky with the ball in the box, cleared at the near post.
You're listening to Leeds 1, Norwich 0 in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and you'll get tasty rewards points. It's 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Now Josh Sargent and Junior Firpo have had a bit of a clash of heads, and Sargent's vigorously rubbing the back of his head as he gets to his feet, but I don't think there's going to be any treatment required for either player. They're both back on their feet, and the referee's going to restart play with an uncontested drop ball.
Yeah, I think Daniel Farke will be quite pleased with how his side started, because they've been at it, Norwich, from the start, and Leeds have really got a stranglehold in this game now. They've got the goal. They're managing these moments in the game quite well now. They're keeping possession quite well. They've forced Norwich back. You know, you just need to take a heat out of the reaction. They've done it well.
Liam Cooper gets a nice round of applause from the Revie end as he goes to warm up away to our left-hand side. Kept in reserve for the last couple of games then by Daniel Farke when he could so easily have reintroduced him at centre-half, but that can only indicate how happy the Leeds manager is with the way the two Welshmen are performing at centre-half at the moment in Rodon and Ampadu.
Good replacement though, a lot of experience, international player. Ahmedi, captain at Leeds.
Yeah. So he's an option off the bench. Norwich clear their lines, and the way you hear from around us will tell you that the ball sails straight out of play for a Leeds throw. 28 minutes gone if you're just tuning into EFL Championship Live on Talksport 2. Patrick Bamford with his 4th goal in 5 games in all competitions, making it Leeds 1, Norwich 0 with a firm header from Daniel James Cross from the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Ball's back with the Leeds keeper, Illan Meslier, in that pink and purple goalkeeping kit. And he's got options left and right, slides it out left for Glenn Kamara, who's come inside his own half to pick up possession. Under pressure from Rowe, rolls it back to Ethan Ampadu. Ampadu thought about a long ball downfield, but then just turns back inside and gives the ball back to his keeper Meslier.
See, this is what Norwich have done really well when I've seen them. You know, they've got in this mid-block, they've cut all the passing lanes off into the front. They're almost making Leeds' passing play predictable. But at some point they need to jump, you know, and trigger and go and press that ball, because they obviously need that goal back.
That's the voice of Neil Redfern, former Leeds manager. Alongside me, Ian Danter here at Ellen Road on Talksport 2 as we approach the half-hour mark. FA Cup coming up this weekend. Cool, blimey, we've got some commentaries for you. Friday night, you've got a choice. Chelsea against Aston Villa on Talksport 2. That's not on the telly either, that game. Or on Talksport, Spurs against Man City. That's your option on Friday night, for example. And then Saturday, Ipswich Maidstone on Talksport at 12:30. And then I'm at Goodison Park with Perry Groves for Everton Luton on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock in the FA Cup 4th round. Now, Josh Sargent has just caught Daniel James, and David Wagner's doing the internationally recognised symbol for dive in the direction of Daniel James. And I think the referee agrees with him, because he's just given Norwich a throw right in front of Daniel Farke, who's not making much of a gesture for what happened to his player. Was that a dive or was that a foul for you?
Well, he's given Leeds a free kick. It looked like a dive to me, Dance, to be honest with you, but he made a lot of it again, Daniel James. You just got to be careful, because he just might be testing the referee's patience a little bit. You know, only one simulation too many, and he might end up in the book.
Well, now the referee's coming over to book David Wagner, I think, who's had too much to say. And the referee is going to wait. It's not actually... is it Wagner he's going to book, or is it one of his assistants? It's one of his assistants that's getting the yellow card for having too much to say to the 4th official down beneath us, who is Jeremy Simpson.
Yeah, it's a little bit of frustration, I think.
How often would you have got booked?
Too many times, mate.
If those rules had been in place.
Yeah. Well, apparently your manager takes it for your whole bench.
Oh, right.
So I think that's the ruling.
Okay.
So it's up to you to control your bench, basically.
Back underway on Talksport 2. Half an hour played. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 at a raucous Ellen Road this Wednesday evening in the Championship. Leeds looking to go a point behind Southampton in 3rd with the 3 points that they're currently grabbing at the moment.
I like the way Ilya Gruev just drops in between the back line. It almost gives Leeds a 3 at the back, lets them get out.
Now Kamara floats the ball out to Daniel James. Right-hand corner of the penalty area. Thought about crossing with his left, but he rolls it infield to Glenn Kamara, who gets away from his man. James tries to poke it down the right-hand side of the area for Firpo, who's joining in that side of the field. Norwich get it half clear, and then Rodon overhits a chip down the right-hand side, intended for Gray. Norwich goal kick.
Yeah, he didn't really give him an option there, Archie Gray. He's running with it, Joe Rowan. He's waiting for the run, but I think Archie Gray wanted it to feet. Leeds a good value for this 1-0 lead at this moment, Dance, I think. You know, but I think Norwich have shown that they've got enough poke about them going forward that they could make inroads into this Leeds side.
Liverpool lead at Fulham over on Talksport. Luis Diaz makes it Fulham 0, Liverpool 1. That's 3-1 on aggregate to Jurgen Klopp's side. That's live on Talksport right now with Sam Matterface and Scott Minto. Lovely touch from Gruev to intercept a ball headed for halfway. Leeds coming forward again with Daniel James down the right-hand side. And this time he can't wrap his foot around the right-footed cross. He tried to send it into the area, and it sails harmlessly for Norwich over Angus Gunn's crossbar. And the Canaries have a goal kick, 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, I tell you what they've done really well, Norwich in wide areas, have doubled up against Leeds. So when Leeds have tried to get the full-backs forward, they've trapped them well. Made it difficult to get crosses in. Sadly for them, one of those crosses that they did get in ended up in the back of the net from Dan James. It's a great header from Patrick Bamford. And it's a really tight game, and that's the difference at the moment in time.
Angus Gunn to smack the goal kick right-footed downfield. Sargent nowhere near winning that header. Roden very strongly in front of him. Norwich have it back. Rowe up on halfway, but he's dispossessed by Junior Firpo, who then plays the ball through the legs of Marcelino Nunez, and Crescencio Somerville outpaces Shane Duffy, just couldn't keep it in play. Well, it looked like Shane Duffy was running in treacles inside his own area as Somerville just went straight past him but couldn't keep the ball in play at the dead ball line. 1-0 Leeds.
I'd look at the wide players for Leeds, Danson. I can't think of any wide players in the Championship that are better than those two. You know, they've been absolutely fantastic for Leeds this season.
Well, Somerville wants to stay, doesn't he? So he says.
Or does that mean he wants to go?
We'll find out by the 1st of February. Transfer deadline will hit next week. And, of course, Talksport and Talksport 2 will be all over that on deadline day with all the deals as they go through. Norwich playing the ball forward. It's held up by Jonathan Rowe. Sargent picks it up, edge of the area, tries to drive. It's blocked by Ampadu. Comes out to Gabriel Sara, who flicks it out to Stacey. Four waiting for a cross. Does that come off the arm of Firpo? It's a corner kick to Norwich City. Stacey sent the crossover, and Norwich have the corner, their first of the game at the Revienne. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, two important blocks there from Leeds. One from Glenn Kamara, really put his body on the line. Defending well. Norwich on the front foot, making them defend.
Sara to take the corner kick from where the Revienne meets the Jack Charlton. So it'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Sara.
Everybody back for Leeds.
And it's the packed 6-yard box. As in it comes from Sara into the near post. Duffy almost got a touch. Comes to Kenny McLean at the edge of the 6-yard box on the half volley. And he got underneath it. And the ball just looped high over the crossbar. Leeds have a goal kick and they hang on to their 1-goal lead.
Yeah, that's really interesting because they brought everybody back there, Leeds. And I'm thinking back to the game against Preston when Preston identified the fact that they got Ampadu at the back and they were without Pascal Stroik. They lack a little bit of height from set plays. You know, they bring Patrick Bamford back, and that was an in-swinging corner that was basically swung under the bar. They were all piling in on it.
Which was exactly how Shane Duffy scored the opening goal when these two sides met at Carrow Road earlier in the season. Almost a carbon copy of the delivery.
So it's obviously a weak spot for Leeds.
Well, they've obviously thought, well, see if we can punish them second time around. Didn't manage it that time. Bournemouth 0, Eastleigh 1 in the National League, and Rangers lead at Hibs in the Scottish Premiership by 1-0. St Johnstone, Aberdeen goalless. That's the other game tonight in the Scottish top flight. Liverpool 1-0 up at Fulham, 3-1 up on aggregate in the Carabao Cup semi-final. And here at Ellen Road, we've got 8.5 minutes plus added time to the break. Leeds 1, Norwich 0, and Somerville, this little box of tricks for Leeds in the midfield, elects to roll the ball square to Archie Gray, moves inside the Norwich half, and then James touches it back for Kamara.
If you look at Leeds' set-up dance, James gives them out of an out width here on the right, and Somerville's allowed to come in off the line, almost like a 10, which gives that space for Firpo to push on. You know, and they've not quite worked it out in these opening exchanges. I mean, they've picked him up now, but he's got clear a few times now, Somerville.
Ball's back with Gruev, who once again, as Neil Redfern's rightly spotted, is splitting the centre-halves on occasion. Sends it left for his captain, Ampadu. Somerville was being closed down, so he rolls it back for Gruev. Spots the run of Rutter down the middle of the field. Long ball from Gruev down the centre of the pitch, but it bounces once and through to Angus Gunn.
Yeah, they've managed them straight balls quite well, Norwich. You know, they're too long in the tooth to get caught with that. Deny space really well. Get on the half turn so they can cover.
Nunez finds Sara with his back to play inside his own half. Works it out neatly to the Norwich right, and Jack Stacey moves over the halfway line, slides it further down that far right-hand side for Jonathan Rowe. Rowe comes in field from the far touchline, plays it up to Sargent. Sargent at the edge of the area, leaves it again for Jonathan Rowe. Lovely intricate passing. Rowe goes for goal. It's straight at Meslier. Super approach play from Norwich City, but the final shot was straight into the grateful arms of Illan Meslier. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, fantastic feat by Rowe. Little glimpse there of what he's all about. No space there to work in at all, and he still manages to fashion half a yard to get his shot off, but it's straight down Mellier's throat. Good play by Norwich though. Either side of the keeper, that's in.
Certainly hit it really hard, Jonathan Rowe. It was at a decent height for Illan Meslier to save as it was straight at him, but as Neil Redfern rightly says, half a yard either side, that would have required a really, really good save to keep it out. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. More Leeds subs go and warm up at the Revienne and get a warm round of applause from the Leeds faithful to our left. Meanwhile, the home side have possession just shy of the halfway line with Glenn Kamara. Plays it back to Ampadu. The ball just in front of square for Roden, who immediately looks to feed Archie Gray on this near side, the Leeds right. 15 yards inside the Norwich half of the field. Back it goes for Joe Roden. And Roden elects to go all the way back to his keeper, Meslier. Meslier now 150 plus appearances for Leeds United, and he's only 23. French under 21.
I think it was a baptism of fire for him as well in the Premier League. Took some wallopings, Leeds, during that time, but I think he's had the benefit of the experience because he's come out this season, he's looked really good.
Here's Firpo down the left-hand side for Leeds. Finds Somerville running down the left-hand side of the box, taking Duffy out to that far side with him. Manages to keep it in play, and he's exchanging passes with Firpo and Rutter, but then they give the ball away. Norwich try and clear their lines downfield, but Sara can't find Jack Stacey, so Leeds have a throw midway point of the Norwich half, down the far side of the field, the Leeds left.
Loads of examples of that counter press from Leeds this half, you know, where they try and probe their way through. Norwich win it, but there's 2 or 3 white shirts around the ball really quickly, trying to regain.
Well, here's Somerville hugging that far left-hand touchline. Early ball down the left-hand side of the box, gets Firpo away to the byline, pulls it back in front of goal, and it's kicked away by the legs of Angus Gunn, kept in play by Rowe down by the corner flag. Over on the far side of the field, Somerville at his back. Oh, somehow Jonathan Rowe managed to turn and fire the ball downfield through the legs of 2 Leeds players. Great skill, but they've given the ball up, Norwich, and Kamara rolls it back to the halfway line, and Joe Roden.
Yeah, kept the ball well there, Leeds. Fantastic ball out from Rowe, like you say, but they jump all over that second phase, they get it back.
Ampadu looking for Rutter, who almost brought the ball down inside the area. Just an aerial ball down the centre of the field from Ethan Ampadu. And Jorginho Rutter tried his best to bring it down like he had carpet slippers on, but the ball just skipped away from him and Angus Gunn could collect. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Just looking at the work rate of the wide players for Norwich has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've really doubled up and got back. Be really pleased with that, David Wagner.
4 minutes to half-time, plus whatever Matt Donoghue wants to add on for stoppages at the end of this first period. The Norwich captain, Kenny McLean, in possession, just over the halfway line. Slides it into Jonathan Rowe, inside right position. Then knocked back by Stacey to McLean. Nunez takes over into the centre of the Leeds half. Both the sides kept possession well. Now Demetrius Giannoulis, early ball, little flick from Gabriel Sara, almost got Sainz in, but it was collected by a Leeds foot, and then Daniel James put the ball out of play, and he's gone down, he's hurt himself, and he wants treatment. I wonder why he put the ball out of play under no real pressure, and that's why, because he's feeling the effects of a knock.
Yeah,
on his, I don't know, is it right leg or?
Yeah, I think he's been caught a couple of times, Dan, to be honest with you. You know, he's that sort of a player that sort of lures tackles in, and I think he's been caught a couple of times. He's played really well so far this half for Leeds. Great ball in for the goal.
Oh, smashing ball in. But he's getting treatment, which means he'll have to stay off the pitch once he's had treatment for 30 seconds. 1 or 2 around us, heading off for a pong and a pint in the concourses and discuss that first half. Still got 3 minutes of normal time to go. Plus, there will now be a chunk of stoppage time for this stoppage and a couple of others. Just a reminder as well, I mentioned some of those cup ties we've got in the FA Cup 4th round, starting Friday night with Chelsea Villa here on Talksport 2 and Tottenham, Manchester City on Talksport, and then Saturday Ipswich, Maidstone, 12:30 on Talksport, and Everton, Luton, 3 o'clock Talksport 2, 7 o'clock on Saturday, Fulham against Newcastle on Talksport, and then I'm not doing this game, but I'd love to be there. West Brom against Wolves Sunday morning, 11:45 kickoff. I've done a Black Country derby in my time at Talksport, and there's very few games like it.
Yeah, but you can't want them both to get beat.
It's a cup match, I don't mind. There's no points at stake in the league.
Exactly.
West Brom can do what they like.
I tell you what, I'm just looking at the stats here, Dance, and you know they make interesting reading. Leeds 62% possession, Norwich on 38, but the expected goals, Leeds on 0.70, Norwich on 0.30. I think that's reflected in what we've seen so far, to be fair.
It's pretty accurate. By the way, Norwich gave the ball back to Ilhan Melia. That's for the applause you heard. Very sporting from Norwich not to try and attack. James is back out on the field, and we're in the last 90 seconds of normal time at the end of this first half. Bamford, the goal scorer for Leeds, strokes the ball out to Daniel James, then knocks it in field for Rutter. Rutter was caught late by Gibson, and he's going to get a booking here, Ben Gibson, for a really agricultural challenge on Jorginho Rutter that's flattened the Leeds number 24. Yellow card was always going to be coming for that for Ben Gibson, and Leeds will have a free kick, and hopefully Rutter's not too badly injured.
Yeah, he's been borderline a couple of times, Ben Gibson. Really competitive, really gets on the front foot, but he's a big lad, and he takes some stopping when he decides to go for it, and he's caught Rutter there full on.
Well, he's gone through the back of him basically, chopped him around the ankle, and Rutter has stayed down. He's just rolling over onto his back now as the physios come out to treat him. So there is going to be a fair old chunk of added time at the end of this first half. Boreham Wood 0, Eastleigh 2 in the National League. Fulham 0, Liverpool 1. That's 3-1 on aggregate to Liverpool. That game's live on Talksport right now. Just over half an hour played at Craven Cottage. And in the Scottish Premiership, Hibs 0, Rangers 1. St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0. And running through a few scores in the Women's League Cup. Blackburn 2, Sheffield United 0. Sunderland 0, Aston Villa 3. Leicester 4, Everton 0. Manchester City's women are 1-0 up on Manchester United in the derby. 65 minutes gone there. And it's Chloe Kelly who's got that goal for Manchester City. London City Lionesses have turned it around against Crystal Palace. That's now 2-1. They were 1-0 down. Reading 0, Arsenal 4. We're into 4 minutes of added time here. We haven't got restarted yet because Rutter's still being led off the field. And Birmingham City 2, West Ham 0, Charlton 0, Brighton 2 in the Women's League Cup.
That's a big result for Birmingham City women, Championship side against the WSL side.
Well, indeed, pushing for promotion under Darren Carter this season, and you know the new owners of Birmingham have said they want to make money available and give some proper budget to the women's team, which has had a shambolic look about it the way it's been run the last 4 or 5 seasons. Back underway with a Leeds free kick for that foul on Rutter. Down goes Bamford under minimal pressure from McLean. No foul, says the referee. Ball's kept in play by Camera on the far left-hand side. Bamford joins him. Little ball in field for Crescencio Somerville. Lovely flick. Bamford goes for goal, and it fizzes just wide. Again, terrific interplay from Leeds United. They know each other's game so well, it seems, and Somerville with a neat flick to set up Bamford, who drove the shot across the face of goal, but it went well wide in the end for a Norwich goal kick. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that Patrick Bamford's found his mojo again now. Looks really confident when he's bearing in on goal. Unlucky there.
Yeah, it wasn't that close, really. It was a good 3 or 4 yards wide of Angus Gunn's left-hand post. So he played 1.5 minutes of the 4 that have been added on. Norwich coming forward with Bortha Sainz. Has to go back into his own half, though, under pressure from Rutter, who appears none the worse for wear, having had treatment for that foul by Gibson. Here is McLean in the centre circle for the Canaries. Faced up by Bamford. Sees the run of Giannoulis, trying to get in behind Gray. Lovely run from Giannoulis into the area, across the face of goal, and Ampadu turns it away with Sargent just behind him. He had to make that. It's not a corner, it's a throw-in on this near side to Norwich. But my word, Ethan Ampadu had to make that, because Josh Sargent had an easy tap-in had he missed that cross from the left-hand side.
Yeah, that's one of the issues of playing a makeshift midfield player, right back. You know, just that defensive awareness really caught out there, Archie Gray.
Throw taken by Norwich. Sainz has to lay it back to Kenny McLean. Tight to this near touchline. Early cross deep to the far post. Rowe and Firpo scrapping over, getting to the ball, but neither of them got there. They're both got in a bit of a tangle of legs, and it will be a goal kick for Leeds United with a minute of the minimum 4 to play out in this first half on Talksport 2. 1-0 to Leeds.
Yeah, I think David Wagner will be looking at this and not too disappointed. Be disappointed with the score, obviously, but I think Norwich have shown enough going forward that they can hurt Leeds United. They want to get his troops in at half-time.
Former Norwich player has scored tonight. Todd Cantwell has scored, Rangers second at Hibs in the Scottish Premiership. Hibs 0, Rangers 2. Norwich in possession with McLean. Has to go back to his goalkeeper, Angus Gunn. Early pass for Gibson. Just outside the penalty area, drives it downfield, trying to get Gabriel Sara in behind Roden, but Roden, who was second favourite to get to that ball as they both ran back for it, outpaced Sara, won it back and cleared it really well, but Norwich have it back. Latter stages of the first half on Talksport 2. Can Norwich force the issue before the break? Yanulis, tied to this near touchline, works it back to Gibson on halfway, has to go infield to Kenny McLean. The Norwich captain gets to the halfway line by the centre spot. Neat ball through to Sara. Laid off to Gibson. Now Gibson slides the ball into Josh Sargent. Lays it back for Nunez. Nunez spots Stacey on the far right-hand side. Lovely pass. Stacey's got 4 to hit in the area. Cross comes in. Comes for Sara. Oh, he's dragged it wide from 6 yards out. 4 to hit in the area. The cross came in from Stacey. Sara unmarked at the far post. Dragged it horribly wide. And that heralds the end of the first half with Leeds United in front, but only just, you would say, because right on the whistle Norwich had a great chance to equalise with Stacey's cross finding Sara unmarked at the far post, but he dragged his shot wide. But Leeds have the lead courtesy of Patrick Bamford's brilliant header on the quarter hour mark. Daniel James with a pinpoint cross from the right hand corner of the box, and Bamford really couldn't miss. But Norwich, despite going in behind, have asked a few questions, certainly more questions than you would argue that Preston asked here, even though Preston did score on Sunday, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think he'll be quite pleased with what he's seen, David Wagner. You know, his side have been really combative. They started well, got on the front foot, asked Leeds questions. Then Leeds scored a great goal. You know, then probably dominated for the next 25 minutes, but they've been in this game, Norwich. They've showed little glimpses. Obviously, that's one great example there. They've got good quality into the box, and that's a good chance. That's a good chance. You've got to be hitting the target at least.
Was he put off by somebody getting a flick just ahead of him, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But the goalkeeper's stranded. The quality of the cross is so good that he's got himself in a bad position, Meslier, and any contact that hits the target goes in. He must be, 4 yards out? But they'll be pleased with that. You know, they've asked Leeds the right questions. Leeds look a little bit leg weary from the Preston game. For me, you know, I don't think they've got the same zip about them. But you know, they've still scored a good goal and they still look a threat going forward. It's been a good game, to be fair.
And just on Bamford, another terrific goal to add to the collection. He didn't score many with his head.
No, he doesn't. But I think what he's doing at the moment, he's playing with real confidence, and I think Daniel Farke's got to take a lot of credit for that, because he's got his arm around him, he's made him feel good, he's got him back. You know, 4 goals in 5 games is not a bad return whatsoever. And he looks like he's playing with confidence. He looks like he's enjoying his football, and I think the role that Reuter's got just in behind him, I think suits him. You know, so it's given Leeds a little bit of more momentum going forward. But the dangers are coming from the wide players, Dan James and Cristiano Somerville.
Great second half in prospect. Make sure you stay with us for it. Neil Redfern and Ian Danter with you on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. A half-time score here at Ellen Road is Leeds United 1, Norwich City 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the EFL. EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Fancy some extra fries for extra time? Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £100 off per couple. So escape to sunny favourites like Greece, Portugal and Italy. And spread the cost with flexible monthly payments. Book now with just a £60 deposit per person. Jet2 Holidays. Package holidays you can trust. Abtranet protected. Subject to availability and conditions.
Welcome to People's Postcode Lottery in 60 seconds. It's really simple. Your postcode is your ticket. Yes, that's simple. Prizes are won every day. And to be in every draw, all you have to do is sign up for a monthly subscription of just £12. Easy. Every Saturday, one lucky postcode wins a share of £1 million. And in our February draws, a lucky postcode area will win a share of £3.2 million. A staggering £1.2 billion has been raised so far for charities and good causes. 70% of postcodes across Great Britain are already playing.
We had a plan, 10-year plan.
10-year plan.
Now it's the next week plan.
So sign up before midnight on the 25th of January for the chance to win. Good things come knocking with People's Postcode Lottery. PPL manage lotteries on behalf of good causes. 18 plus conditions apply. Play responsibly. Not available in Northern Ireland.
Hi, Rachel. I'm just on the school run, but coming straight from the site, I can't...
Find my backpack, Daddy. I think I left it in the...
presentation we had earlier. Just looking at the agenda, can we...
Have pizza tonight, please?
get everyone's timesheet so we can look...
At this drawing I did today, Daddy.
Oh, nice. Do you want to pop it in an email for me?
Do it all on the big network for business.
An email?
Search 3 Business.
Look at him go.
He's a quality striker.
No, not him. The electrician fixing those lights.
Wow. Is he?
Yes, he uses QuickBooks to prepare for self-assessment.
This is truly game-changing.
Use QuickBooks year-round to ensure your income tax return is shock-free. That's how you business differently. Intuit QuickBooks.
It's the UK's biggest used car sale, with savings on over 20,000 used cars. It's Arnold Clark's only sale of the year. The real sale is back. It's the sale you don't want to miss. Nobody does it bigger. Nobody does it better. The Arnold Clark Real Sale is now on. For stock verification and to find the car you're looking for, visit arnoldclark.com.
The Social with Adi Oladipo and Rory Jennings. Tomorrow afternoon from 3 on Talksport 2. Outspoken opinions and decisive debate following all the action.
We talk about football in a bipartisan and educated way. Well, I do at least.
I try. News, views, fun and football fixtures.
It's not just football though. Bit of boxing, bit of horse racing, even a bit of rugby.
And it's a try! And some phenomenal guests.
If you can't get in this squad after showing the form he showed, I don't think it looks too good for him.
This is the place to be.
It's Addy and Rory. It's The Social on Talksport 2.
What a goal!
The Social.
Tomorrow afternoon from 3.
It just works, doesn't it? On Talksport 2.
On DAB+, online, via the TalkSport app, and on your smart speaker. EFL Live on TalkSport 2.
Leeds start the night in 4th on 54 points. If they get a win, they'll go just a point behind third place Southampton, who themselves are only a point behind Ipswich, as it starts to get very congested behind Leicester at the top of the shop. Rutter, lovely ball down the left-hand side of the box for Camera, and now Junior Firpo gets to the byline, pulls it back, overhead kick from Bamford, just couldn't connect the right way. What an effort from Patrick Bamford. Leeds players stayed down, it's Archie Gray, but we play on. Daniel James, right-hand corner of the box, cross for Bamford! Heads it home! Magnificent! Patrick Bamford makes it 4 in 5 in all competitions, and Leeds are in the hunt for automatic promotion. Good and proper. That's the half-time score here on your home of the EFL. Talksport 2, Leeds 1, Norwich 0 here at Ellen Road. Full second half commentary to come. Just to remind you, there's another live game over on Talksport right now. It's approaching half-time in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Fulham 0, Liverpool 1. That Luis Diaz goal on the 11th minute mark means that Liverpool are 3-1 up on aggregate for the right to face Chelsea in the final at Wembley. Elsewhere in football tonight, Eastleigh 2-0 up at Boreham Wood. Rangers 2-0 up at Hibs at half-time in the Scottish Premiership. And St Johnstone 0, Aberdeen 0. And we'll bring you full second half commentary from here, myself, Ian Danter and Neil Redfern. And after we're done here at Ellen Road, we're going to be bringing you some live PGA Tour golf for the rest of the night as the first round of the Farmers Insurance Open gets underway. Will Gavin will be your host, and he's been looking ahead to the action.
Coming up tonight, immediately following the football, it's going to be night one of the Farmers Insurance Open live with our friends at PGA Tour Radio as the tour heads from La Quinta, California to San Diego this week for a rare Wednesday start. Why, you may ask? Well, because this Sunday is the NFL Championship games, and so this tournament runs from Wednesday to Saturday, but that does not take away from the prestige of the iconic Torrey Pines golf course, which we host with both the South and North Coast in play and a big name field involved throughout. We've got last year's winner Max Homa. We've got a number of players in the world top 50, including 4 from the USA's Ryder Cup squad: Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, the aforementioned Max Homa, Colin Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, all in action, and a number of major championship winners in amongst that group. In addition to Morikawa and his 2 majors, you've got Hideki Matsuyama, the 2021 Masters winner, Shane Lowry representing Ireland, the 2019 Open champion, plus the likes of Francesco Molinari, Jason Day, Justin Rose and Stuart Sink. So an absolutely packed field. We're running from Wednesday to Saturday this weekend as the PGA Tour live coverage continues right here on Talksport 2.
Thank you, Will. And he mentioned the NFL there, and of course we're reaching the business end of the American football season. Now Talksport is bringing you one hell of a game on Sunday night into Monday morning. Detroit Lions, who've been superb getting through to the NFC Championship game, they will travel to take on the San Francisco 49ers. So after Trans-Europe Express on Sunday night with Danny Kelly from 9 till 11, then you get live commentary into the wee small hours on Talksport of the Lions at the 49ers in the NFL. And in the early hours of tomorrow morning, you can hear live and exclusive coverage of England's Test series in India. The first test gets underway from 3:30 a.m. here on Talksport 2 and on the Talksport Cricket YouTube panel. Oh, let the fun begin.
So there's 2 titans of the modern era head-to-head here. A little bit of this and a little bit of that, I would think. And there it is! Oh, Jimmy Anderson!
For every team around the world, whether that's Australia, England, anyone, this is one of the toughest assignments you can have.
Here is Ashwin again. Bowled him! Here's Akshar Patel. Bowls straight past. He's bowled him!
You don't want to go off and put the kettle on here, do you? You're going to miss something.
Stokes in again, steaming in once more. It's an edge, and it's been taken. Stokes has done it again.
Having beaten India in India, it's a proud moment. It's something you can talk about for the rest of your life.
Down's got him, stumped. Ben Folkes has another one.
It's going to be hard, but I'm just personally so excited about it.
So England arrived in Hyderabad a couple of days ago ahead of the first test, which gets underway in the morning. And our very own Andrew McKenna caught up with the one England pace bowler that we've selected for this test tomorrow. That's Mark Wood.
It's a nice warm day. How are you feeling now you've got here from Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, good. I think the group's in a positive place. That Abu Dhabi camp was really good for us. We spent a lot of intense cricket training, but also had a good time away from the field, getting together, preparing for this moment. Now we're here, it very much feels like game on. Mindset has shifted from sort of training camp into match mode, and yeah, it's we're accustomed to the weather a little bit more, we're accustomed to the time difference a little bit more, so yeah, ready to go.
There was a lot of talk about the training camp and being based 1,600 miles away from the venue of the first test. Did you get out of it what you wanted to?
Yeah, the facility's obviously fantastic there, so you get whatever pitches you want. I mean, we scuffed wickets, we put sand on pitches to replicate spin. Also, those flatter pitches, so for the seam bowlers to try and bowl on, and scenarios with reverse swing and new ball bowling. So we tried to cover all bases while we were there. Of course, it always helps as well that we're in a nice hotel and we could switch off around the cricket as well. So as hard as the cricket days were, it was nice to get away and relax the mind as well. But then as soon as we've gotten here, it's very much switch on. So it's been a nice sort of blend while we were there.
Obviously, a lot of the guys have got IPL experience, so coming to a venue like this, you can tap into. I mean, Johnny obviously played here for a long time. What's the general consensus? What's the feeling within the camp about what this ground is going to play like?
I think we've all just said that it's an amazing ground walking out. I don't think any of us have really, I guess, gone too over the top of, oh, it's going to be like this or that. It's just we've took in conditions, we've had a look around, we've had a look at the wicket. It's obviously a massive stadium, and in the IPL games it's really loud, so maybe we can expect that if there's a full crowd. But yeah, a lot of the lads have played some high-profile games. We've come off the back of the Ashes, which was loud in the summer, and high-pressure situations. So I think this group is confident and will lean on the Pakistan series, I think, as well, to look back on. I know every team says, oh, you should look forward, and that's the TV answer, but you always want to lean back on, you know, things that you've done well, and, you know, if these conditions are similar to Pakistan, we know in those tough moments that we can use that experience, lean back on it and say, right, this is what we did well, this is how we came through it, and try and use that here.
That's Mark Wood chatting with Talksport's Andrew McKenna. So a reminder that you can hear live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary with no adverts during play. England in India, the Test Series, the 5 Test Series, right here on Talksport 2 and the Talksport Cricket YouTube channel. It all starts 3:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, and what a lineup. Darren Gough, Kevin Peterson, David Bumble-Lloyd, Gareth Batty, Steve Harmison, as just part of our commentary team out there in India. So make sure you're with us right the way through the Test Series to see whether Bazball works in the subcontinent. How's your cover drive, Neil Redfern?
Rubbish, in a word.
That's honest, if nothing else. Can't even turn your arm over for a bit of a bowl.
Yeah, cricket.
Not bad. Right, okay.
Yeah, cricket, not bad. Okay. Golf, shocking.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, just get etiquette shouted at me.
No, I meant a cover drive as in the cricket shot.
Oh, cover that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you more a batter than a bowler?
I'd say I'm an all-rounder, yeah.
Oh, all-rounder.
All-round, good at nothing.
Players are back out, or at least the Norwich players are back out here at Ellen Road. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 ahead of our full second half commentary. I don't imagine they've come out early because they've had a flea in their ear from their manager.
No.
Saying, get out there, you've let me down.
No, he'll be pleased with what he's seen, I think, because I think they've created some good chances. You know, and I think they've more or less nullified Leeds to the goal, to be honest with you. There's a couple of half chances where they've danced into the box with Somerville. But other than that, they've been quite tight at the back.
They've only won 1 of their last 5 matches against Leeds. That was a 3-1 win here back in February 2019. Leeds have won the other 4 of those 5 games, 3 in the Championship and 2 in the Premier League. Now, only Leicester have conceded fewer goals per game than Leeds United, which is what Norwich needs to be wary of. 10 clean sheets. Only West Brom have more with 12. And they're also the team, Leeds, who won the most possession in the final third, snatching the ball off the opposition as they try and clear their line.
Well, we've seen that on a few occasions in this game, Dan, to be honest with you. That counter press, when they've actually been in possession, they've tried to create something, they've lost it. Seen the white shirts swarm around the yellow shirts to try and regain it quickly. It's happened a lot.
So second half commentary to come here. Leeds emerge from the tunnel. No sign of any changes in the Norwich lineup. So before we get underway, let me remind you of the 2-11s. In fact, there is going to be a change for Leeds. I've spotted Jayden Anthony, who was on the bench on Sunday. His mother very sadly passed away.
I think it's Dan James, isn't it, that's going to make way.
Dan James did have a problem first half, well spotted. Neil Redfern, it is indeed Jayden Anthony who's going to come on for this second half. Jayden on loan from Bournemouth. And that's the only change made by either manager at the turnaround. Warm round of applause for Jayden, and we wish him well. What must be a very difficult time for his family. Back underway on Talksport. So Leeds now have Melier in goal, Gray, Roden, Ampadu, Firpo, Gruyev, Camara, Anthony, Rutter, Somerville and Bamford. For Norwich, Gunn, Stacey, Duffy, Gibson, Giannoulis. I'll break off for a minute as Patrick Bamford gets away, but pushes Shane Duffy over at the edge of the area in these early stages of the second half. Referee gives a free kick to the Canaries. I'll run through the rest of that Norwich lineup before Neil Redfern picks up. So in front of Stacey, Duffy, Gibson and Giannoulis at the back, McLean, Nunez, Rowe, Sara, Seitz, and Sargent. 1-0 to Leeds. Was that a push by Patrick Bamford, Neil Redfern?
Well, they look level for me, and I don't think the defender was in control of the ball. They were both chasing after it. A bit harsh.
Well, ball's bouncing around the centre circle, bit of head tennis. The referee's headed it. It was headed straight to him by Ethan Ampadu. It was a very nice cushion header down to the turf. Beautifully done by Matt Donoghue.
Get him in.
He's been suitably embarrassed by that, and he's given an uncontested drop ball to Leeds, who immediately fire the ball out to Archie Gray. Leeds now attacking the Revy end to our left in their all-white first-choice strip, and Anthony is brought down on that left-hand side by Nunez, and that's going to be a yellow card. No, Giannoulis rather, and that's going to be a yellow card for the Norwich left-back.
Yeah, he was a little bit rash in the game against Hull that I covered. Giannoulis. Really, if he thinks he's going to go and win it, it really goes for it. And it's good play by Jayden Anthony. He just drops his shoulder and lets it run across him. And the challenge is lane. It is a yellow card challenge and a free kick for Leeds in a good position.
Level with the Norwich penalty area. Right on the far touchline. The Leeds right. Somerville's going to take it. Races both arms in the air. Norwich holding their line in between the 6-yard line and the penalty spot. And Leeds making runs across those defenders. In it comes from Somerville. Up goes Roden, headed away to the edge of the area. Rowe keeps it down. It's sent forward, but Archie Gray lobs it back into the box, but it's straight into the grateful arms of Angus Gunn, who will clear from hands downfield and try and get Bortha Sainz in behind Archie Gray. But Gray watched that clearance all the way onto his head and cushioned it down for Jayden Anthony. Neat defending from Archie Gray, who we have to keep reminding ourselves is not an orthodox right back. 1-0 Leeds.
He's doing absolutely brilliant, to be fair. I mean, the problem he has is obviously when he comes 1v1 and he's got to defend, and he lacks a yard of pace at times, but what he lacks in pace or defending qualities, he makes up unbelievably in possession. His quality is brilliant.
Now Gray getting away down the right hand side, going the other way for Leeds United into the area. Might work for Jayden Anthony, just couldn't get the turn on the shot, but Rutter at the edge of the area tries to clip it down the right hand side of the box for Bamford. Norwich get it half clear, but Rutter will pick up the pieces for Leeds United. 1-0 they lead. We played it 3 minutes of the second half on Talksport 2. Ampadu now picks it up for Leeds, just ahead of the centre circle, shovels it out to this near side, and Firpo. Now Glenn Camera has it, gives it back to Firpo. Not quite level yet with the Norwich penalty area. Now he is as he picks it up once more from Glenn Camera. Ball works infield to Bamford. And then Leeds elect to go back to halfway line in their skipper, Ethan Ampadu. And I remember seeing him play for Exeter City when he was coming through, Ethan Ampadu. Big time move for Chelsea, didn't come off for him there. Oh, here's Anthony, gets to the byline, pulls it back to the edge of the area. Oh, Somerville brings it down when he had no right to, but the shot was lofted well over the crossbar. That looked to be drifting out of harm's way from Norwich's point of view. It seemed to have been played behind all the Leeds players in the box by Anthony's pullback. But somehow Somerville got there, but couldn't get the shot away and keep it down.
Yeah, I think that cutback's in vogue at the minute, that second 6-yard cutback. And he reads it well, Somerville. His first touch is brilliant, but as he goes to strike it, he's leaning back and it goes up and over the bar. Needed to get his body over the finish.
Well, Anthony certainly got involved at the right end of the field since coming on for Leeds United at the start of this second half, on for Daniel James. And hopefully that's not too serious a problem that Daniel James has got. Leeds have got the FA Cup 4th round tie against Plymouth next at the weekend. And Norwich have an FA Cup tie as well. Be live on Talksport against Liverpool. That's 2:30 Sunday afternoon on Talksport. Quite a few of these Norwich players will not be overawed by a trip to Anfield. Many of them are Premier League Norwich players. They'll know what it's like to head to that part of Merseyside. Leeds in possession with Junior Firpo. Infield to Bamford, the midway point of the Norwich half. Ampadu elects to go back to Gruev, who once again is splitting the two Leeds centre-halves. Lovely ball floated out to Archie Gray. Brings it down on his chest, right-hand side, almost level with the Norwich penalty area. Looks to roll it backwards to square to camera. Oh, lovely turn from Jorginho Rutter, weaving his way down the right-hand side of the box, but eventually runs into Dimitris Giannoulis, who gets away from Rutter. Can't clear the ball quite as the way intended, but at least Norwich have got the ball out of play further back down the field towards the halfway line. He is proper twinkle toes, Jorginho Rutter, isn't he?
Yeah, what I really like about him is not frightened to do the unpredictable. You know, and he's confident enough to keep doing it, even if it fails every now and again. You know, at times he's showed some real quality dancing past players, and it's opened up for Leeds. You know, just that final ball, if he could pick a player out, could get Leeds in front of goal, but as it is, it's still tight. Norwich are in this game.
6 minutes gone in the second half. Live on your home of the EFL. Talksport 2, Leeds United 1, Norwich City 0. Patrick Bamford with the goal just after the quarter-hour mark. Here is Marcelinho Nunez. He's splitting the two Norwich centre-halves in a similar way to the way Gruev's been doing for Leeds.
Well, look, it's a feature of this system of play. It's a 4-2-3-1 system both sides have adopted, and it's a feature of it, you know, overloading at the back.
Stacey, now Sargent chests the ball down to Gabriel Sara. Gives it back to Sargent with his back to play. Lovely turn, right-hand corner of the box, and now Jack Stacey takes over. Whips the ball in to the near post, and it's a slightly nervy clearance from Joe Rodham, but it's thumped clear downfield by Ethan Ampadu, but nobody in a Leeds shirt on halfway to hold the ball up, and Norwich have it back. Good skill, good tenacious work from Josh Sargent there, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, he's impressed me, Josh Sargent. He hasn't had much service, to be fair to him, and he's up against two really difficult opponents in Rodon and Ampadu, but he's shown really good moments. Got good feet, gets away from people, strong, can put it into him and it'll stick.
Leeds 1, Norwich 0 on Talksport 2. Norwich in possession with their captain Kenny McLean on halfway. Jonathan Rowe takes over, slides it out to this near side, and Jack Stacey just in front of Daniel Farker, the one-time Norwich manager, stood at the edge of the Leeds technical area. Now here's McLean again in the centre circle, drifts past Bamford, plays it out left to Gibson. One of a couple of Norwich players who've been booked in this game, Giannoulis being the other one. The ball's out of play as Norwich have a throw.
I think that'll be a feature going forward now for Leeds. Get the ball out to Jayden Anthony, get him to run at Giannoulis. He's a little bit rash at times.
Well, he's on a yellow card, let's not forget. Now Stacey, the other fullback for Norwich, trying to get onto a floated pass, hit into out, left to right, but it goes sailing over his head, and it's a throw-in instead to Leeds United in their own defensive third. Junior Firpo to take it, looking for an option. Boreham Wood 2, Eastleigh 2 in the National League, and it's half-time at Craven Cottage, live on Talksport. Fulham 0, Liverpool 1. Liverpool 3-1 up on aggregate for the right to face Chelsea in the League Cup final. Thanks for the cup of tea, by the way, Neil.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm well trained, mate.
You are. Ball's back with Ben Gibson, midway point of his own half, the Norwich centre half. Has to go back to retrieve the ball from the edge of his own penalty area. And now Kenny McLean, who's drifted out to that far side, as he does quite often for Norwich, to create a bit of space infield for Nunez. Brought into the side for Ashley Barnes tonight, and Barnes has just come out to warm up for Norwich.
We've seen a lot of these phases of play where both sides are probing and trying to pick a way through each other, and both sides have been set up really well. It's really difficult to find that forward pass to get a player in front of goal. It's Norwich that's in possession, trying to play their way through now. Leeds that are doing the defending.
Brought forward again by Kenny McLean, out to the left-hand side for Gabriel Sara. Sara leaves it for Giannoulis, almost level with the Leeds penalty area, works it back in field to McLean, but McLean's got Glenn Kamara watching him like a hawk. Ono Hernandez going to come on shortly for Norwich for their first change, but here's Jonathan Rowe. right-hand corner of the box, lays it back to Gabriel Sara, up to the edge of the area. Oh, lovely dummy by Bortha Sainz, little over, thinking that Sargent was making a run in behind him. He wasn't, but it was a lovely idea. Didn't come off for Norwich. Leeds still 1-0 up.
Yeah, and it's that sort of thing, Dance, that opens the opposition up. Something a little bit different. Because they're setting the shape, Leeds almost in 2 banks of 4, making it difficult for Norwich to probe them and play through.
Now the frustration for the locals as the ball slid up to halfway looking for Bamford, but it was comfortably intercepted by Ben Gibson. Giannoulis comes infield from the far left-hand touchline, goes back into his own half for Gibson. Nunez comes to split the 2 centre-halves once more for Norwich. Duffy plays the ball along the deck forward to Josh Sargent. No foul from Ampadu, but Jonathan Rowe has picked up the ball. Right-hand corner of the box goes down. No foul, and it's cleared away by Junior Firpo. And then Rutter tries to wriggle clear of a couple of challenges, but Stacey took the ball off his toe.
Yeah, they're just turning the screw a little bit now, Norwich. It's good play. A lengthy spell of possession. Must have been a good 2 or 3 minutes there of Norwich having the ball, and then they've regained it quickly. They can't get out, Leeds.
McLean. Now it's Jonathan Rowe finding Bortha Sainz, right-hand side of the area. Gives it to Stacey. First-time ball to the back post. Sargent tries to go up for a header. Headed away by Roden. And then Rutter hooks it over his head, but it won't go out of play. It's kept in play on the left. Norwich left by Dimitris Giannoulis.
Yeah, the captain leads his half. Norwich can't get the ball. Leeds.
Here's Kenny McLean on the centre spot. The Norwich captain. Skips away from Patrick Bamford, drops his shoulder, rolls it out to the left-hand side, and Giannoulis, who's always willing to receive the ball, out on that far left flank for Norwich City. Work back to Ben Gibson. Nunez again inside the centre circle. Norwich patiently working the ball left and right. Duffy goes back to halfway, and Ben Gibson.
See, there's a couple of moments there, Dance, where the ball's gone square and backwards, and they've got to come up, Leeds. They've got to squash the space between the lines, and they've not done.
Sainz for Norwich finds Shane Duffy. The ball's slightly behind him. He's bringing it forward, though, the centre-half. Hits an early ball into the box. It's cleared away by Roden. It's going to just out of play for a Norwich throw, 10 yards from the corner flag. And now David Wagner's going to make the change. A little final hug for his Cuban substitute, Onel Hernandez, who's going to come on for Bortha Sainz. So like for like, really, Neil Redford.
Yeah, absolutely. Made the same change in the game against Hull City, and he made the goal, to be fair. But had a really good spell here, Norwich. Really composed in possession, prepared to probe Leeds, put the ball at risk when it's on. Leeds just can't get out.
So Hernandez on for Sainz. Hasn't scored yet this season, Onel Hernandez for Norwich City. Made 11 starts, but just hasn't found the back of the net. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Really noisy Ellen Road this Wednesday night on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Nunez rolls the ball back for Norwich keeper Angus Gunn. He just touches it into the centre of his own half for Kenny McLean. McLean thought about playing that Hail Mary pass down the left-hand side, but now it's Nunez who's got space to direct operations for Norwich as he gets up to the halfway line. The Canaries are really enjoying themselves at the moment out there, but they need a goal, of course.
Yeah, but there's a frustration now going across the crowd. You can hear it, Dance. Yeah. You know, they want the ball back, the supporters, Leeds. But brilliant from Norwich.
Here's Hernandez getting involved for the first time tonight since coming on as a substitute down the far side of the field. Tries to wriggle past Archie Gray, but he sticks his foot in. Out of play it goes for a Norwich throw, left-hand side. Taken quickly by Giannoulis, assisted by Sara. Neatly works the ball in field for Nunez, driving towards the edge of the area. Finds Josh Sargent with his back to play. He lays it off for Shane Duffy coming forward. Stacey now picks it at right-hand side for Norwich. Has to roll it back for Duffy because the avenue down towards the byline was shut off by Leeds defenders. Now on the halfway line, it's McLean. Just keeps it away from Rutter and finds Gibson. Very calmly done by the Norwich skipper there.
They must have had the ball 5 minutes here, Dance.
Well, we're approaching the hour mark, and Norwich are pushing again. Nunez, another lovely ball out to Giannoulis down the left-hand side, faced up by Gray. Nunez picks it up again, centre of the Leeds half. Finds his captain, Kenny McLean, who can drive forward. McLean spots Giannoulis in space, left-hand side. Here comes the cross. It's over the head of everybody in green and yellow. Drifts out to the right-hand side and kept in play by Jack Stacey. Down by the corner flag on this near side. Sara in support. further back towards the midway point of the half. He clips it back into the centre circle, and Norwich keep possession for another 30 seconds, 45 seconds to frustrate the locals.
Yeah, they're just not working hard enough here, Leeds. They're getting back in the shape and they're denying that forward pass, but they've got to go after the ball as well.
Is this, as you mentioned, that sort of tiredness and weariness kicking in?
Maybe.
Because Norwich have had an extra 24 hours to recover.
Yeah, there seems to be no energy in the press. You know, they're letting, it's a really low block, this, and if you give a good side like Norwich so much space, they can exploit you.
That's the voice of Neil Redfern, former Leeds manager, here on Talksport 2. Nunez finds Jonathan Rowe in the centre circle, immediately turns and fires it out to this near side, the Norwich right, and Jack Stacey. Stacey comes in field, gives it back to Rowe at the right-hand corner of the penalty areas. Norwich attack the Norman Hunter, and in it comes from Rowe, headed out by Ampadu. Only as far as Nunez. Norwich have won it back again. They're getting all the second balls. Out to Yanulis on the far left-hand side. Hernandez makes a run down the left-hand side of the box. Yanulis tried to find it, but Anthony got a foot in.
Well, that takes you to that old saying, doesn't it? If it had been a boxing match, they'd have stopped it, because they're on the ropes at this moment in time, Leeds. They can't get the ball.
Norwich again with Hernandez. Finding Yanulis and now Gabriel Sara. Leeds fans trying to rally the troops. You can hear marching on together, ringing around the stadium. 61 minutes gone. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 on Talksport 2. Here is Shane Duffy for the Canaries, just inside the Leeds half. Stacey has to go back into the Norwich half of the field to keep possession, but keep possession they do, and that's been 9/10 of the law. But they need the other 10th to hit the ball into the back of the net, because Leeds have still got that one goal advantage given to them by Patrick Bamford on the quarter-hour mark. And again, the Leeds fans imploring a higher press from the Leeds players, but Norwich are playing round it. Jonathan Rowe tried to work it out to Jack Stacey on the right-hand side. Brilliantly won back by Firpo, and now Rutter running towards the edge of the area, squares it in field. Somerville, low shot, comfortable save from Angus Gunn down to his left-hand side.
Yeah, that's a real chance. You know, for somebody like Somerville who can finish, sets himself well but never really hits it. It's a comfortable save for Gunn, but it's a great reaction from Leeds when they win it. You know, rather than build, they've raided, they've gone at Norwich quickly.
Now Stacey coming forward for Norwich City. Gets toward the right-hand corner of the box before he's finally closed down by Gruyev. Rowe in support. Has to trot back towards the halfway line and gives it back to Shane Duffy. Back into the centre circle, the ball goes for Ben Gibson. Gibson will play a ball back to his centre-half partner Duffy. And now Nunez takes over. Spots Stacey making a run down the right-hand side, but across comes Junior Firpo, and an uncompromising clearance into those Norwich fans down to our right in the bottom right-hand paddock of the John Charles main stand that we're sat in.
We haven't seen much of Hernandez at this moment in time for Norwich. They need to try and get him on the ball if they can.
Stacey's just won a corner though for Norwich at the Norman Hunter end of the ground, and it will be another Gabriel Sara left-footed in-swinger. And I'm sure Shane Duffy will once again plonk himself for the near post if that's where they go again. That's where they tried it in the first half and it nearly came off.
Well, this is where Leeds are vulnerable. Set players.
So, Sara with this corner kick, left-footed in-swinger from the man from Sao Paulo. Actually rolls it to the edge of the area. Nunez went for goal. It was straight into the chest of Roden. It was on target from Marcelino Nunez.
Good set play, like that, inventive, bright. Seeing the space at the edge of the box.
Lovely ball from Kenny McLean down the right side of the box, trying to get Stacey away, but equally brilliant defending by Ilya Gruyev. The Bulgarian just protected that ball behind for a Leeds goal kick. 64 minutes gone on Talksport 2. It's still, as it was on the quarter-hour mark, Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, great play by Ilya Gruyev. I mean, he's gone unnoticed in this game, but not by me. He does all the ugly stuff, drops in between the two centre-backs, prompted well in possession. Out possession is tracked. Really made it difficult for Norwich to get anybody free, sat in that midfield position.
You're listening to Leeds 1, Norwich 0 in the EFL Championship on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order delivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty rewards points. 18+ terms and conditions apply. Ian Danter and Neil Redfern with you on your home of the EFL. Norwich give the ball away. Bamford for Leeds finds Jayden Anthony, who skies a shot over the crossbar inside the box. Suddenly Norwich gave the ball away. The ball broke for Jayden Anthony and his shot was deflected over the bar. And Leeds have been awarded a corner belatedly at the Revy end. A massive chance to go 2-0 up, not taken by Jayden Anthony.
Well, we've got the advantage of the screens here, and I'm looking at it, and he's had a touch when he just should hit that dance. He's in the box as the ball's played across to him. Difficult skill, because the ball's rolled square, so it's a rolling ball across him. But if he takes that first time and takes a chance, it gives Gunning goal absolutely no chance from so far out.
Gruyev to take the corner at the Revy end, left-footed, onto the 6-yard line. Out comes the goalkeeper Gunn, gets a punch on it, but Junior Firpo first on the scene to shovel the ball back out to Gruyev on that right-hand side. Firpo, back for Archie Gray as the last man. He finds Somerville. Midway point of the half, 3 players in Norwich green and yellow converge on Somerville, denying him the chance to wriggle clear. Now, down the right-hand side, Glenn Camera and Jayden Anthony exchanging passes. Gruyev back in field for Ethan Ampadu. Aberdeen 1-0 up at St Johnstone in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers 2-0 up at Hibs. And they're into the second half over on Talksport at Craven Cottage. Still Fulham 0, Liverpool 1 in that Carabao Cup semi-final. Liverpool 3-1 up on aggregate. Leeds, a goal to the good here. And they're trying to do to Norwich what Norwich were doing to them for about 5 minutes, Neil Redfern. They're trying to keep possession here and be patient.
Well, it's a good idea, because if you've got the ball, then obviously Norwich can't score.
Now here's Jorginho Rutter, centre of the Norwich half, using his strength. Bamford works it left for Junior Firpo, left-hand corner of the area, trying to give it back to Bamford, and it was a brilliant interception from Ben Gibson. Ball now bouncing around the midway point of the Norwich half, given away by Norwich. Somerville trying to lob it into the area for Bamford. Firpo takes over and drives it against Ben Gibson, and it goes behind for another Leeds corner at the Revy end. Leeds 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, they kept that ball alive really well there, Leeds Dance. Didn't give Norwich a chance to get a good clearance. It's a good effort from Firpo, blocked at point-blank range, but gives Leeds United a corner.
Where the Revy end meets the John Charles main stand. And Anthony and Somerville are scheming between them. Will it be a short corner to Somerville, or will Anthony hit a right-footed in-swinger into the near post? He's moving back from the ball as though it's going to be a longer effort. And indeed he does swing it into the near post, headed out by Giannoulis, defending well, but Leeds trying to keep the ball alive on this near touchline. Somerville runs into Onel Hernandez, who just put his foot through it and got it up to the halfway line. Anywhere will do for Norwich, just to help them push out a little bit. Firpo for Leeds United, infield for Gruyev, midway point of the half, given away, and then Firpo slid in strongly on Rowe. Free kick to Norwich City.
That's got to be a caution, surely.
And a yellow card for Junior Firpo. Indeed, he does get a yellow card from Matt Donoghue. I think the referee was just making sure that Rowe was all right and not needing any treatment before he then walked in the direction of the Spaniard.
I think, to be fair to Rowe, the noise was for the referee's benefit to say, look, that's a yellow card, because he just basically bounced up and jogged off. But it was a bad challenge.
Bournemouth 3, Eastleigh 3 in the National League. Well, topsy-turvy game there between two teams in mid-table in the 5th tier of English football. Here in the 2nd tier, Leeds wanting to get back to the 1st tier for the first time of asking. 1-0 up on Norwich, and Leeds have won a free kick as Duffy climbing all over the back of Patrick Bamford. And you can hear the Leeds fans around us howling for a yellow card to be issued to Shane Duffy.
I'm not sure that is, mate. I mean, he's stood there waiting for the ball. He's just basically run and climbed above him. He's not jumped at all there, Bamford.
I think he sensed that Shane Duffy was thundering in behind him. And he's won the free kick quite cleverly.
All of a sudden it went dark.
There speaks the voice of experience. Can't imagine anybody made the world turn dark for you. Gibson heads the ball clear. Jayden Anthony picks it up for Leeds, right-hand corner of the area. Tried to flick it infield to Bamford, but Onel Hernandez was back defending. Giannoulis clears his lines from the dead ball line, but Glenn Camera keeps it alive for Leeds United. But Hernandez is on the scene again, fires it back to Giannoulis, and he tries to play a 1-2 with Gibson, and it is a Norwich City throw. And Christian Fastnacht He's going to come on. Didn't he score at Hull as well when you saw him play there?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he's going to be on the Swiss, who scored 4 goals in the Championship, including that one that Neil Redfern saw at the MKM.
It's been a really interesting game, this, Dance, because
it's intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, both sides have set up really well. You know, a couple of times both sides have adopted a low block and made it difficult and give the other side possession. And then both have broke on one another and got chances. And it could go either way still, this game.
20 minutes to go. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Don't forget the cricket starts at 3:30 a.m. tomorrow morning here on Talksport 2. Exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the first test in Hyderabad between India and England. 3:30, set your alarms for that. And you'll hear ball-by-ball commentary from 4 a.m. Simulcast on Talksport and Talksport 2 until 6, when Alan Brazil's back with Gabby Agbonlahor on Talksport Breakfast. Ball's out of play, Norwich have a throw. Fasnacht gets one final little handshake from his manager, David Wagner. Let's see who the Swiss is coming on for. It's midfielder for a centre-half. They're going for it, Norwich. They've taken off Ben Gibson.
Does that mean McLean drops in with the back line?
May well be, because McLean has been playing at centre-half at times in the absence of Norwich City first-choice defenders. So Fasnacht is on, and McLean has indeed dropped into that centre-half position to the left of Shane Duffy. Fasnacht slightly more forward-thinking as a midfielder than McLean. Here's Gabriel Sara, another creative talent in the Norwich midfield. 18 minutes to go on Talksport 2. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 at Carrow Road. Fasnacht's first involvement is to shovel the ball out to this near side, the Norwich right, and Stacey. But Leeds have got everybody behind the ball. If the ball goes up to halfway, Nunez plays it left for McLean, who tries to run around Jayden Anthony and pushed into Jayden Anthony. Don't really know what he was trying to do there, Kenny McLean, and he's given away a free kick to Leeds, who lead 1-0.
Yeah, he did well there, to be fair. Jayden Anthony just got his body across McLean as he tried to step in, forced the foul. He's almost wrestled his opponent to the ground there, McLean, but still evenly balanced this game. You know, you can see chances coming for either side.
Norwich who've lost just 2 of 12 matches since the start of December, and both of those were by the scoreline they're trailing by here. 1-0 they lost to West Bromwich Albion and to Millwall. They win the ball back, but Jonathan Rowe can't seize upon the loose ball as it bobbles over the halfway line into the Leeds half, and Ampadu will find Junior Firpo. Gives it back to Ethan Ampadu. 17 minutes to go. 1-0 Leeds. Camera finds Gruyev. Firpo can't quite get to the halfway line. Fasnacht is closing down the space. Rangers 3-0 up at Hibs now in the Scottish Premiership. Cyril Dessers makes it 3 to Philippe Clement's side. Leeds coming forward down the left-hand side of the area. Somerville pulls it back to the edge of the box. Bamford running onto it. Tried to hit it with his left foot, but it seemed better to hit it with his right foot. Went with his left and screwed the shot horribly wide for a Norwich goal kick. 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, that looked such an unnatural effort at goal, to be honest with you. He's got to have a touch there, Patrick Bamford. I don't think he realised how long he'd got. It's a great play by Somerville. Cut it back into the second 6-yard blocks. And his timed his run, great Bamford. But all he needs is to have a touch. If he has a little touch, sets himself up in front of goal, it's in the back of the net.
Jonathan Rowe for Norwich as the Canaries come forward. Out to the left-hand side, and Giannoulis level with the edge of the area, rolls it back into the centre of the half for Gabriel Sara. Scored a wonderful individual effort against Leeds in the reverse fixture, when Norwich were fighting their way out of a poor trot of form they were in at the time. But Leeds won that game 3-2 with a brace from Crescencio Somerville. Oh, lovely run inside the area from Giannoulis, but the ball just bobbles away from him for Norwich and behind for a Leeds goal kick. He applauds the effort from Kenny McLean. Almost found him with a defence-splitting pass down the left-hand side of the Leeds penalty area. 1-0.
Yeah, that's a couple of times they've got him behind Archie Gray. Obviously not a natural right back. Played well again tonight. Obviously in possession, gives great quality, but when you've not got it at times, them defensive positions that he picks up are a little bit suspect.
Here's Gruyev. Now Norwich have got really high press on as Melia has possession inside his own area. Clears it out to Ampadu. comes off the top of his foot, but he prevents it going out for a throw and then hits it against Josh Sargent to get Leeds a throw. And he's just urging a little bit of calm, the Leeds captain, with his hand gestures there to his teammates.
Yeah, you just don't want to give, if you're in the ascendancy and you're 1-0, you don't want to give the opposition any encouragement. If you look at Meslier there, almost got that pass cut out. That's what the fans are really annoyed about.
St Johnstone equalise at home to Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership. That's 1-1. 1-0 here to Leeds United against Norwich City as they bid to get that little bit closer to the automatic promotion spots. Jayden Anthony on as a second half change for Daniel James, has possession for Leeds. Rolls it back to Roden. Now his compatriot Ampadu has possession, turns away from Josh Sargent, who was coming across to close him down, and gives the ball back to Meslier. Leeds keeper inside the D, short pass for Gruyev, and he just calmly finds Rodon there, just knocking it round between the four of them at the back.
But you see, they've gone with 3 up top now, almost, with him playing as a 10. And I think where Leeds have got a problem here, straight balls into Gruyev are going to cause him a problem.
Now Gabriel Sara for Norwich, just over the halfway line, dispossessed. Bamford tries to come away with the ball. Rutter takes over, has kept it in play on this near touchline. Into the box he goes, couple of step overs. Rutter! Good save by the legs of Angus Gunn as he went for goal from a tight angle with his left peg. And Norwich try and clear their lines, and Rutter gets all the way across to Jack Stacey to prevent his clearance downfield. About 10 seconds after he was denied by the legs of Angus Gunn.
That's great play by Rutter. I mean, he's unlucky there with his effort, to be fair. Creates a good angle to get his shot off. It's a good save by Gunn, and doesn't actually admire his finish. He's straight back after the ball.
Given away by Norwich. Somerville down the left-hand side, pulls it back to Bamford, who tried to flick it into the near post. Norwich somehow smuggle the ball clear. Hernandez runs into the centre of the half. He's dispossessed by Gruyev, and then Nunez gets the ball away, and suddenly Norwich are on the counter-attack. It's with Jonathan Rowe out on the left-hand side, being watched by Roden and Camera. Rowe still with it, genuinely two-footed play, but what a challenge. Joe Roden stuck his foot in and won the ball for Leeds at the right-hand corner of his own penalty area.
Yeah, it was like the Bobby Moore challenge against Pelé. Remember that far back in the 70 World Cup? Just stood there and took it off him. Great play by the big centre-back.
Yep, stood his ground and waited for the right moment. And the ball's been put out of play because...
I don't know if he's hurt himself here doing it, though.
He might have done, Joe Roden. He's lying flat on his back. Leeds have put the ball out of play so we can get some treatment. Meanwhile, David Wagner's playing a further double change to bring on both Ashley Barnes and Adam Eder for these remaining 10 minutes plus that we've got to go here on Talksport 2.
Well, I think they've took this game right down to the wire, Norwich. And obviously he's thinking now's the moment, if we're going to do it, to get ourselves back in it. The changes that he's made before have made taken effect, to be fair.
Ashley Barnes is coming on for Jonathan Rowe. That's the first change. Who does appear to be moving a little awkwardly, and Josh Sargent said, come on, get off the field, come on, hurry up.
Yeah, he's not had much service, to be fair, at Rowe.
And Josh Sargent is coming off as well, I think. Yeah, he is. He's the other player being withdrawn to allow Eder to come on. So the Republic of Ireland centre forward, 6 goals, Adam Eder in the Championship this season, the Republic of Ireland youngster. And Ashley Barnes, 500 plus club appearances, so much experience.
Just saying here, Dance, this could be an issue for Leeds if Rodon has to go off.
Yeah, strikes out injured. Cooper's on the bench though. I mean,
Cooper's on the bench, yeah, but you're still putting him with Ampadu.
Yeah.
Although Ampadu's played well today, but as regards physical presence, you know, Leeds wouldn't have any then at the back.
Well, Rodon's going to see if he can run it off. He's just trying to trot out to that far touchline, having got back to his feet with the 2 Leeds physios with him. We've got some live golf coming from the PGA Tour as soon as we're done here at Ellen Road with Will Gavin guiding you through the action. And Rodon is just now running up and down the touchline to see whether he's going to be okay. Meanwhile, Norwich have sportingly given the ball back to Ilan Meslier once again. So Barnes and Eder very much a front two, it would seem, for these last 10 minutes plus added time that we're into now on Talksport 2. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Clearance downfield from Meslier, looking for Bamford. Bit of a mess at the back initially from Shane Duffy, but the ball calmly nodded back to Angus Gunn. And now Nunez turns and looks for Fasnacht with an early ball, who's offside. He was looking along the line as well, the Swiss. I don't know why he would end up getting himself offside, because he was looking very intently along the Leeds back line.
Yeah, just look at Ethan Ampadu there. Great play by the captain, because he's bellowing to his back line to be brave and hold the line.
Rodon's back on, by the way. Just watch how his movement is, the on-loan Spurs midfielder. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. We're into the last 9 minutes of normal time, plus whatever the referee wants to add up for stoppages. Jorginho Rutter trying to get away down the left-hand side, forcing Stacey to put the ball out for a Leeds corner at the Revy end. And Rutter has once again put in a right old shift for Leeds United.
Yeah, he's carried the fight for Leeds. Really, really strong in possession. Got his body in, forced the corner. Good defending in the end, to be fair, because he had to get that challenge right. He's in the penalty area.
Again, it's a corner at the Revy end where it meets the John Charles main stand. And this time it is a short corner as Anthony rolls it to Somerville. Gives it back to Anthony. Back into the centre of the half, and Glenn Kamara. Now Anthony, he's dispossessed, and Norwich race clear with Onel Hernandez breaking over the halfway line. Rise to challenge of Rodon, 2 to his left, moving up is Adam Eder into the box left hand side. Adam Eder tries to check in on his left. What a challenge to get the ball clear for Leeds United, and Patrick Bamford will roll the ball back to the edge of the area. And I think it was Junior Firpo that got the vital touch to stop Eder getting a shot away as Norwich raced clear on the counter-attack.
Yeah, I think the chance went there for Norwich when he took the ball inside on his right foot. I think if he'd kept going on his left foot, the goal was open for him.
Ball fired downfield by Kenny McLean. Kept in play by Gruyev for Leeds United, who still lead by a goal to nil with 7.5 minutes to go. Norwich have a throw, though, left-hand side. So David Wagner's played pretty much all the cards from his deck. Brought on Barnes, brought on Eder, brought on Fasnacht to try and change things up top. Given away by Sarah with a loose ball. Somerville for Leeds down the left-hand side. Couldn't initially get past Sarah, who'd given the ball away, and Sarah toe pokes the ball out for a Leeds throw and thumps the turf in frustration, the Brazilian, having given possession up to the home side as easily as he did.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a sloppy pass, to be fair. He's played well today, Sarah. Looked the part, he's got good touch, good awareness.
That's Neil Redfern, you can hear, former Leeds manager, alongside me, Ian Danter, here at Ellen Road, where we've got 7 minutes of normal time to play. In the Championship, Leeds will go 1 point behind Southampton in third place. They'll stay fourth, but they'll be so much closer to the business end of the Championship. They can hang on, and they've just played the ball through. Rutter finding Somerville down the left-hand side of the area. Stacey trying to hold him up. Somerville goes for goal, and it's only just wide. Took a deflection on its way from Stacey. It ends up being a Leeds United corner. 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, he's been brilliant tonight, Somerville. Always going to come inside on his right foot. You know, as a defender, they should know that, but curls that ball to the far post, and it misses by inches. I think it did get a touch, a deflection. I think the goalkeeper got a little touch on it as well. Corner for Leeds.
They're taking their time spotting it over on that far side where the Revy end meets the Jack Charlton stand. Gruyev is only now picking up a bit of pace to place the ball by the quadrant. So a left-footed in-swinger from the Bulgarian. Leeds 1-0 up. In it comes from Gruyev into the near post. Headed up and out by McLean. Ampadu holds the ball up at the edge of the area. Works it back to Jayden Anthony, who sends a shot fizzing over the crossbar from 30 yards out. Goal kick Norwich, 1-0 Leeds.
Yeah, decent effort. Always rising. Just needed to try and keep that down, but worth a try.
So Norwich with the goal kick. Taken short for Angus Gunn, the goalkeeper, to drive it onto the chest of Ashley Barnes, who's got all the time in the world to chest it down by the halfway line and feed it back to Gabriel Sara. Plenty of green and yellow shirts forward here. Sara, an overhit pass intended for Adam Eder down the left-hand side of the box, but it's easy for Meslier to come and collect. And we're now down to the last 5 minutes of normal time with Leeds 1-0 up.
Yeah, he needed to give him more of an angle there, Eder. Just ambled into that forward run. Needed more of an option there, Sara.
Meslier just rolls the ball out in front of himself and clears from the edge of his own area. Left-footed. but McLean gets in front of Rutter. Offside flag goes up against Eder, so Leeds will have a free kick. David Wagner can't believe that Eder's been caught offside.
Yeah, that's twice now, Dan. It's frustrating for the manager because he's made his changes and they're trying to get back in this. Just takes Leeds off, just takes the pressure off Leeds, lets them off the hook a little bit.
34,380 inside Ellen Road tonight. Most of them are going to go home happy at this point. Remember, on Sunday, live on Talksport 2, they left it so late to get all 3 points against Preston North End with that Peru penalty. That's a Ryan Ledson's handball. It's Patrick Bamford's header early in the piece that keeps them ahead at the moment. Bamford in possession, finds Archie Gray. Neat ball in field for Jayden Anthony. Now back for Bamford at the midway point of the Norwich half. Glenn Camera now steers the ball up to the edge of the box. Somerville tries to play a 1-2 with Jayden Anthony. It so nearly came off for Leeds United. Onel Hernandez gets it half clear, but Glenn Camera on the scene again in midfield for Leeds. Plays it out to the right-hand side. Rutter in the right wing position for the moment. Plays it through the legs of a defender. Bamford gives it back to Rutter. Tries a bit of quick feet down the right-hand side of the box. Holds off Hernandez. Keeps going into the box. Rutter rolls it back. Glenn Camera finds Junior Firpo at the edge of the area. Shot beaten away by Angus Gunn. Junior Firpo doesn't score many. Very close to putting Leeds 2-0 up there.
Yeah, that's all about Georgino Rutter's good work. Brilliant feet. And then physical strength to keep himself on the ball. Dances into the penalty area. Picks his teammate out. Camera just rolls it into Firpo's path. And he's unlucky. He's trying to curl that ball into the far corner. Good save.
Firpo to the byline. Tries a back heel to get Rutter back in control, but couldn't do so. Goal kick. I remember Junior Firpo winning a game here against Southampton with a late winner. That was his last goal for Leeds United back in February. Into the last 3 minutes we go. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 on Talksport 2. What have Norwich got left? They're coming forward again with Christian Fastnacht. Down this near side, the right. Ashley Barnes and Jack Stacey are out there with him. It goes back to the halfway line and Shane Duffy. Duffy plays the ball across to the left and Kenny McLean. McLean into the centre circle. Barnes has come short. Finds Gabriel Sara, strokes it out to the left-hand side, and Yanulis. Leeds getting everybody back behind the ball. Eastleigh are back in front of Boreham Wood. It's 3-4 in that game there, just north of London. Boreham Wood 3, Eastleigh 4. Still Liverpool, a goal to the good against Fulham. Don't forget the cricket starts at 3:30 tomorrow morning. Exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the first test in Hyderabad between India and England. Make sure you set your alarm so you can enjoy the test match from the subcontinent with us here exclusively on Talksport 2. Leeds come forward and the ball almost snuck through to Patrick Bamford, but I think there's a problem for, I think it's Marcelino Nunez, is it, or is it
yeah, it looks like he's done his hamstring, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's a Norwich player down, and I think it's either cramp actually for Nunez, and Jayden Anthony's actually obliging and helping him out.
He's been good, Jayden Anthony, since he's come on.
Yeah, very lively.
Yeah.
The guy's on loan from Bournemouth.
Yeah, he looks a threat.
He's only scored one since he's been here. That was against Watford in September, but he's clearly kept the Norwich backline guessing. Been dovetailing nicely with some of the players around him, like Rutter and Bamford.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think he's had that many opportunities either, to be fair. No. But he's done himself no harm tonight.
Last minute of normal time. Leeds 1, Norwich 0. Long ball downfield looking for Adam Eder for Norwich. And then he takes out Archie Gray, who got the ball past him. And that's surely going to be a yellow card, is it, for Adam Eder? Well, the referee's walking across to him, but he's just going to have a glance at him as if to say, no more, please. Fulham have equalised against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. They need another one to force extra time. There's about 13 minutes left at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Liverpool 1 on the night, but still 3-2 on aggregate to Liverpool.
Just going back to that challenge, that was a poor challenge, Dance. Lucky he read it there, Archie Gray, and got his leg out of the way.
No yellow card for Eder. So we're about to find out how much added time we'll have. Sara's brought down by Camera into 3 minutes of minimum stoppage time. That's not much. And David Wagner holds his hands out at Jeremy Simpson, the fourth official, saying surely there's more than that. But 3 minutes it is. We're into that now. Leeds closing in on 3 more precious points at Ellen Road and keeping that unbeaten record. The only unbeaten home record in the EFL. Norwich, though, trying to pick up a point of their own. Ball clipped down the Leeds left, looking to get Somerville away. Norwich get it half clear. Rutter tries a little pirouette, Bergkamp style on halfway. Gets past one man, can't get past the second. Barnes finds Sara inside his own half. Clips it out to the left-hand side for Dimitris Giannoulis. Giannoulis gives it back to Gabriel Sara. Leeds hanging on here. Nearly a minute of that minimum 3 is gone. Sam Byram's going to be coming on in a minute for Leeds United, but not after Norwich have won a free kick as Giannoulis is caught by Glenn Kamara on the far left-hand side.
It's a silly free kick to give away because you know where this is going.
In the mixer.
Yep.
A player you know well, Neil, Sam Byram coming on. You had him here as a kid?
Yeah, through the age groups. Had Sam as a 15-year-old.
And he's going to come on for Crescencio Somerville. So it's definitely a case of what we have, we hold for Leeds United. Somerville's putting in another great shift tonight. No goal, no assist, but plenty of endeavour. And the Norwich keeper's gone up for this free kick. Angus Gunn is up in the box for a free kick. It's not a cup tie. Roden's gone down again, incidentally. Now, Somerville was going to come off, but they might have to change their mind here, Leeds United, and bring on Sam Byram for Joe Roden, because he sat down again inside his own penalty area, and the physios are treating him, so he's going to have to go off.
Yeah, that's a worry for Leeds and all, and you know, with Pascal Strike being out, I mean, not obviously this game, you know, seeing out these minutes, but obviously if it is an injury and it's going to keep him out, then they're going to be a little bit light on the ground for centre-backs.
Byram still waits, and Roden still sat on the turf at the edge of his own penalty area. Don't forget the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy from around 10 past 10, I would say, over on Talksport once the action's finished at Craven Cottage. Taking your call. So Leeds and Norwich fans, you can call Jamie and Jason, giving your thoughts on what you've seen here tonight, what you've heard here tonight if you've been following our commentary here on your home of the EFL Talksport 2.
Yeah, he's coming off.
It's Archie Gray who's been injured, forgive me, not Joe Roden.
Yeah.
And he's moving very awkwardly.
Looks like Cooper might be coming on as well.
Yeah, Cooper and Byram both being readied here. And Archie Gray at 17, I think it's his right hip or something is not quite right, maybe a dead leg or something.
He got a proper wallop, didn't he, earlier on, the referee? I don't know if he cautioned the Norwich player.
Adam Eady,
yeah.
Maybe the after effects of that. But he's going to go straight down the tunnel, I think. Archie Gray.
Great performance tonight. Outstanding. 17-year-old.
Well, you wouldn't know it.
No.
Apart from, I mean, he's not particularly broad in the shoulder. He looks like a 17-year-old in terms of his, you know, his shoulders. He looks like he'd snap like a twig in a breeze. But he's got some provenance, that boy. Byram's on to replace him. And Liam Cooper's also ready to come on. But they're not going to bring him on until this set piece from Norwich has been played. Sara works it into the box, headed out towards the left-hand side, and Sara will pick it up again. Gunn stayed forward. Ball crossed in and deflected out of play for a throw-in. Now they want to make that change. Leeds want to bring on Liam Cooper, and they will be allowed to do that by the referee. The 3 minutes, by the way, of minimum stoppage time have long since elapsed. We played 94 minutes and 8 seconds, and it's Glenn Kamara that's going to come off to allow Liam Cooper to come on, and Kamara's going to walk off behind the goal at the Norman Hunter end to allow Cooper to come on for these last few seconds.
Yeah, he's been another one that's been a good performer for Leeds tonight. Done all the ugly stuff really well, anchored that midfield, good physical presence. Need that particularly in the Championship.
So Liam Cooper can now come on as Glenn Kamara walking behind the goal away to our right-hand side. So a throw-in for Norwich. Gunn's now gone back to the halfway line, the Norwich keeper. He's not going up for this particular set piece, but this is just going to be launched into the box by Marcelino Nunez to try and get a Norwich touch on it. In it comes from the left-hand side. Up go the heads. Duffy won't win it. Roden will. Great strong header clear, but it's picked up on the left-hand side by Giannoulis. Throw in for Kenny McLean. McLean gives it back to Nunez. Tried to cross it into the box, and it's fouled by Jorginho Rutter, who's hurt himself at the same time as Nunez making the challenge. And it's a free kick to Norwich, and Rutter and Nunez both feeling the effects of that 50-50.
Yeah, they're just silly free kicks they give away when the clock's ticking down. It's nearly over. You know, you want to try and force Norwich back if you can. You don't want to be able to lump it in your box for Leeds. I mean, Rutter's been outstanding tonight, probably the best player on the pitch.
Well, now they're going to bring off Crescencio Somerville and bring on Mateo Fernandes. Our Leeds United.
Yeah, great, brilliant performance from Somerville.
He was coming off 2 minutes ago. That's all changed. By the way, Boreham Wood 4, Eastleigh 4. What a game in the National League tonight. 8 goals shared out. Leeds 1, Norwich 0 here. 6 minutes of added time have been played. Only 3 were added on, but we've had substitutions and injuries dominating this period of added time. It's been scrappy, it's been bitty, but it gives Norwich a chance again with a free kick just ahead of the centre circle. Sara and Giannoulis standing over it. Sara will take it, left-footed, floated to the edge of the area, headed across the penalty area. It might break for Duffy, comes out to the edge of the box. Rutter turns, guns out of his goal, and a free kick is given Leeds way, even though they had players running forward. Matt Donoghue has brought play back, and the Leeds fans howl their disapproval.
Well, he'd enough time there, the referee, to be fair, to play advantage. You know, he saw what had happened. I don't know, it's a funny one, that one. There's enough time there for me to play advantage. Leeds are clear. There's one defender back and 3 white shirts running at him.
Mind you, Sara had stopped running. He wasn't going to try and engage Jorginho Rutter.
But the ball's in play, isn't it?
The ball is in play. You have to play to the whistle, but anyway, free kick for Leeds United. We play on Talksport 2. Still 1-0 to Leeds. Ball looking for Bamford. Heads it out to the right-hand side. Rutter, who's put in a tremendous shift for Leeds United tonight at Ellen Road. Down towards the corner flag. Keeping it in play. Now he's been dispossessed. Foul. Norwich aren't taking it from the right place as far as the referee's concerned. And that winds them up. Back it goes to Kenny McLean. Still we play on. Norwich have just got to send it downfield. Kenny McLean hits it long, looking for a flick on from Shane Duffy, who stayed forward. The full-time whistle goes. Leeds United have another 3 points. They keep their unbeaten record at Ellen Road, and they move within a point of third place Southampton in the championship table. The 1 goal they scored tonight came early from Patrick Bamford, making it 4 goals in 5 matches in all competitions, heading the ball home. Norwich's best chance probably came just on the half-time whistle when Gabriel Sara dragged a shot wide when supremely well placed in front of goal from Jack Stacey's cross. They huffed and puffed in the second half, Norwich, but I can't remember Ilan Meslier having a serious save to make in that second period. And Leeds stay in 4th, yes, but they're closer to those seeking automatic promotion with the 3 points they've got here tonight. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a funny game because both sides locked arms. No quarter was given. Leeds had that little bit of quality to get the noses in front with a goal for Bamford. But I mean, what a clean sheet for Leeds to keep. You know, if you're talking about promotion credentials, clean sheet against your promotion rivals, you know, they're the key moments, and they'll be really, really pleased about that, will Daniel Farke. 2 good results against 2 difficult opponents in short time. The one against Preston, obviously the one today against Norwich. 6 points, massive 6 points.
Junior Firpo just going to the Revienne to take the acclaim. And Leeds United are marching on together. They want to get back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. Norwich will stay in 8th on 41 points. And David Wagner, I'll go and stand and speak to him in a minute, Neil Redfern. And I know what he'll say. He'll say that they deserve something out of this game, Norwich.
Yeah, I think he'd be right, to be honest with you. I think they've played some good stuff. I think there were times in the second half where they were camped in Leeds United's half and didn't really fashion anything that was obvious. Obviously, the chance in the first half that went missing where they should have done better. But I think they've done enough in this game to at least come out with a point.
Your man of the match would have been Jorginho Rutter?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's carried the fight for Leeds. You know, and it's not just his work he does, you know, in attacking moments. I think it's his work in general. You know, his work ethic, really runs for the cause, works hard, gets his foot in, tracks back. The crowd love him here, and you can see why, because he gives absolutely 110%.
Neil, as always, pleasure to have you with us on Talksport 2 tonight.
Yeah, it's been great. I've loved it, mate. Great game.
Top man. Neil Redfern, former Leeds manager, part of our commentary team tonight here on Talksport 2. So Leeds catching up on those above them at the business end of the Championship, and Daniel Farke, having now done the double over his old club, Norwich City, takes the acclaim of the Riviera. You'll hear from him on the Talksport Breakfast in the Morning with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor, I'm sure. Next up here on Talksport 2, we're across to the Farmers Insurance Open, round one of the PGA Tour Golf at La Quinta in California. Will Gavin will guide you through all the action, and don't forget, at 3:30 in the morning, our live and exclusive coverage starts of the first test between England and India in Hyderabad. Ball by ball exclusive commentary with the first ball at around 4 a.m. We wish England well, and we'll leave you in the capable hands of Will Gavin, who will guide you through the PGA Tour Golf next. For the final score here at a jubilant Ellen Road once again is Leeds United 1, Norwich City 0.
Talksport 2.